Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first Valheim fan chat. This is a new series that I'm doing where I do a live stream with someone else in the Valheim community. In this case, it's EasyBoarder, and I'm going to be asking him about what Valheim means to him and a bit about his Valheim story. And then after that, we're going to transition into a bunch of cool questions that his community has for him. And there's some really cool questions in there, so I'm excited about that part. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. How's it going, Easy?
Welcome in, everybody. My name's Easy indeed. It's going good. It's a bit chill today. This is the first actual thing I got to do, so it made me clean my desk. So already a bit productive.
That's awesome.
Pretty good. Pretty
So
good.
if we need to adjust the sound, like if my voice is too loud or his is too loud, just let me know, okay? I can adjust everything as we go. But to get started, as people are joining, I figured why don't we start off by talking about just you and gaming in general before Valheim. Makes sense? So like
Yeah.
what were you
Yeah.
doing before
What
this,
was I?
right?
What was I even doing, dude? It seems like Valheim's such a big part of my life right now. It's weird to think about before, but I'm guessing looking at when it came out, I probably was playing a lot of Sea of Thieves, actually.
Sea of Thieves, that
And my
I
name
get
did
it.
not come from
Oh
that
man,
game. I
that's
just
a
want to
cool
clarify.
game.
Yeah. I got almost the same amount of hours in Sea of Thieves as Valheim right now, and Valheim came out like what 3 years later.
Ah, you were really into it then.
Oh yeah, we played a lot. Like we're getting well, somewhat competitive to a healthy level, I think.
Yeah, so
But
for
that,
those
what
of you who
else?
don't know about Sea of Thieves, it's like this very unique game where you're basically like a pirate in a sort of open world kind of thing, and there's
It's an
other
open world.
pirates,
Yeah,
and you kind of compete to steal treasure and then steal it from each other. So it's a very unique game, super immersive. Personally, for me, it's so immersive it gives me a headache when I play it because all of the rocking and being on the boats and everything. But it's
that is a
absolutely an
real thing.
experience you should try out if you've never tried Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves. It's very unique.
100%. And I met Bortle, King Bortle in chat here
Yeah,
because of that game.
that's awesome.
But just asking a simple question. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I think with that, I think was Satisfactory out? Well, in early access for sure. So that Sea of Thieves, dude. Let's just consult my library here because I don't know anymore. This has taken up so much of my time, and
It's
I love
funny.
it.
Welcome,
But
Fenzi TV. Um, but something, it's funny you mentioned Sea of Thieves because that's actually a game I've been looking at a lot because I'm working on these like oceans and islands for Enigma.
oh, for real?
So like in Sea of Thieves, there's a lot of inspiration for islands and sailing near them and how they look and like sort of some of the mechanics. And also games like Wind
Yes.
Waker, they also have big ocean, little islands, right? So I've been paying a lot of attention to these two games, more so visually, not like actually playing them myself, but like watching videos about them, seeing them. So it's
Like the
funny you
little
bring it up.
nuances when you come close to an island or an object in the ocean. What happens to the sound? What happens to
Exactly.
movement?
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's a lot of good things to take away from Sea of Thieves in that case. 100%.
So so basically you were playing Sea of Thieves and some other games like Satisfactory. Then now you don't have to go too much into detail about that, don't worry. I just want to
That's fine.
talk I want you to talk more about Valheim. When did Valheim enter the picture for you?
Boy, when well, it was around release, honestly, but it is a bit weird. My first encounter with the title does not rhyme with how I've been interacting with it now because two friends of mine played it. They're like, "Oh, you got to get on it. It's cool." And I looked at the trailer, and mind you, this was around the time that there was a lot of acid flip slop on Steam and whatever, you know. And there was Valheim, this Viking game that was pixelated and looked not very triple A, right? And it was paired with a great song by Amon Amarth, Shield Wall, I think. And I was like, I'm watching the trailer, dude. Yeah, this is a great song, but the game looks shit. Game looks absolutely not my thing. which is very weird now to say, but
It shows
and
we don't really know what we want, do we?
we don't until we have it, and that's the thing. Um, yeah, I guess I tried it because it was cheap. It was 16 euros back then. I think it's 20 now. Still not a big price in my opinion, especially for that. I tried it. I just fell in love with it, man. It's just the aesthetics, how everything is presented. It gave me a new thing, a new way to chill. And
So let me
yeah,
ask you more about that. So basically, you started with a really low bar. You weren't. It sounds like you didn't
oh
even
yeah,
want to play it, but maybe you had a friend who was playing it, so you just went
that
along
yeah.
with it.
I want to play with friends mostly.
That's hilarious. And so can you tell us a bit about like how was that going from feeling like this is kind of lame to like whoa this is really cool? What did that? Like tell us what happened. How'd that
What did
happen?
that? Well, I've always liked the kind of pixel look, but the way the animations were presented in the trailer, I think I didn't kind of vibe with me. But once I played it, once I had control of the character, I saw how the lighting was implemented. I saw the volumetric smoke combined with those pixel textures and stuff, right? That to me is like mwah. It's like a magic potion that I just couldn't resist. It's like the same kind of charm that Teardown has, actually. Teardown has a lot less depth than you can do with Valheim, with the community, with builds, with everything. But yeah, so slowly I started playing it, defeating Eikthyr, and then whoa, you could terraform land? What? Because
So you found
I've
the
played Minecraft for a
pickaxe.
while.
The
Yeah,
pickaxe was very rewarding for you then.
it really was, because I played Minecraft for a while. In that world, every block you can do whatever with, right? After that came a bit of an era of fixed world games. In my opinion, they felt a bit more limiting because I was used to the openness of Minecraft.
Minecraft, yeah.
And this felt like some sort of middle ground, like a great working middle ground. It's hard to explain, but it's lovely to explore this idea, this feeling.
Yeah, I love learning about this because it's important to. I'm sort of on a quest to try and understand what the average Valheim player is, and the more I learn about it, the more I realize that nobody knows. Like you
Oh
have
no.
the modders and they think they know, you have the vanilla players who are most of the players and you think that they know, and you have the developers and they think that they know, but really nobody knows the community as a whole. We all just kind of know our individual parts. You know what I mean? So I love asking these
Yeah.
questions to learn more about the experiences that people have, because it helps understand like what can change about Valheim in the future, and also what we can do in our own project later on, right?
Yeah.
So
And I think a big part of the magic comes from giving the player tools, not rules. Again, just like Sea of Thieves. Here's a bunch of stuff you can do. What do you do with it is up to you. And that's
tools, not rules. I haven't heard that before. That's wonderful.
really you really shouldn't get into Sea of Thieves then.
Tools, not rules. Interesting, because that's so. I've been managing a Valheim server where I like change the mechanics, I adjust it, so it's more about
Mhm.
game design. You have to understand, like, if I change this, it's gonna have a drastic effect on the player. They might not like, you know what I mean? So you have to
Yeah.
think a lot about that. But that phrase, tools, not rules, I've seen that firsthand over and over and over again. One can
Mm-hmm.
think
Yep.
like, oh, I need to stop the players from being able to steal from each other. But in practice, when you actually limit people, it that's not what Valheim is. But
No.
basically, Valheim's already too limited. So what I've learned is that what works best is exactly as you say, to give the players tools that they can
Mm-hmm.
use to make their own gameplay, and not to limit
I
them
think
to
so.
just doing it the way you think it should be, you know?
Is there a spike in one thing to do? Then give players the tools to do the exact opposite. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Let nature settle. It's, I don't know,
So
it has a way of doing that sometimes.
so can you tell me a bit now about how your Valheim experience evolved over time? Because I feel like now you're very into Valheim, right? And you stream it and these things. But I'm assuming it
Yeah.
didn't. Did it just start that way, or like how did you?
No.
Were you streaming from the beginning, or did you decide to start streaming? What was going on with that exactly? I don't know a lot about your history as a live streamer before all this.
Yeah. So I think as many people did, I started live streaming around end of 2020. during the COVID era, and I guess it was a lot of Sea of Thieves back then because that's what I knew that game. I was comfortable with it. I think I did one immediately co-op live stream on Valheim, and I remember not even knowing how the building worked. Nothing, completely fresh, no research, and I was just faffing about and talking mostly, and being confused a lot. But I think I did pick it up fairly regularly after that. I'd have to really consult like websites like Sully Gnome for the stats, but I can't imagine not streaming that more after that experience.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically you started the beginning of your Valheim experience was streaming, pretty much.
Yeah, there's like a year in between that, I guess. It's I'm thinking like when I started, I didn't start streaming hearing about Twitch or hearing about games and what else to do. You remember Twitch Things?
Twitch Things?
Yeah, it was like a standalone karaoke app.
No, I don't
and
know
it had
anything
like this
about
big yellow go live button, and I'm like, might as well. And I streamed for like 20 minutes, something. I sang a couple songs and I was gone again. You know, my idea of streaming evolved so much over all these years. Looking at other people, looking at what I wanted to do. Like I want to treat it a bit like a TV show because that's how you interact. Well, the interactive TV show, of course, because Twitch, but give some flow to the content, right? And not just, hey, I'm live, I'm playing a game, and 20 minutes later, hey, chat. You know, no.
Well, why don't we explore that a bit? Do you want to talk a bit about what you're trying to do with streaming and Valheim now?
Sure. Well, we're going to come back to this later.
Not necessarily just Valheim, but streaming. What you're trying to do with streaming in general.
Okay. For me, streaming was initially a replacement for the band I was in, like an entertainment factor for me and for other people. And that's basically, I guess, what it is, and keep people entertained, keep floating colors across the screen so the eyeballs will stay, in this direction, and have it make sense somehow. Yeah, that's kind of what I try to do. I think like a TV show you tune in to watch.
So before, I'm just putting the dots together here. So before COVID, you were in a band and you would perform.
Yes, correct.
So then COVID happened, you couldn't perform anymore. So
correct. Well,
live
the band
streaming
also broke up around that time, so yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't just COVID, but either way, during the pandemic, you couldn't perform in the band physically anymore. So there's this vacuum created of your desire to perform and create. Makes sense? That explains getting into streaming.
Yeah, kind of. I think the very, 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 very first time I heard about it was when a colleague said, hey, I stream on Twitch. I'm playing this game. And I was like, hey, I'd like to play this game. Can I play with you? And then the fact that he was streaming was sort of an afterthought for me, that there was also something happening online. But I sat in his starting soon screen, and it just looked epic. It looked, wow, I want to do something with this. Like a whole world of possibilities just opened up. Like, what? Huh? This is such a creative outlet as well.
So you have a lot of fun with it.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell just talking to you. That's cool.
It is a lot of fun. It's what you make it, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that must be why people enjoy you. Because, like, I mean, I can tell just by, like, how many people sent questions to ask you. Like, you have quite an active community. It's definitely...
that blew me away, honestly.
They're getting something from you, and they want to learn more about it. And that's really cool, to be honest. That says a lot. It shows that you're doing things right. And speaking of that community, I figure I may as well focus more on those questions, because normally I actually like kind of interview the person about their story more, but in this case, you guys gave me a bunch of really good questions, so I'm gonna pivot and actually start asking some of those. Okay, so I'll start with the people who just sent one question, and then we can get to the people who asked like 4 or 5 of them. So first off, we have a question
with the ones that I don't know about.
I don't know which ones you don't know about and which ones you do know about.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, the screen went black for a moment, by the way. Sorry, guys. I alt
I
tabbed
noticed.
something
Yeah.
else and messed it up. But so
We're
first
still
we'll
here.
ask, yeah, first we'll ask a question from, yeah, when I alt tab to the questions, it does that. One moment, let me
I got a
just
little.
minimize
For
them.
sure.
This will fix it.
Oh, there's gone. Okay.
Yeah, it should. The screen's back now, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah.
I'm looking at things.
Yeah, I just had to minimize the list of questions so that it's not
Hmm.
full screen. Because for some reason, if I alt tab to a full screen window, then the stream thing ends. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
the
the
first
Windows thing.
question is from Fenzig. And he says, he or she, I don't know, says, I don't know how other communities are, but for me, it's more than friendships and more like a family. Do you also feel like Valheim / the community gave you a family?
Oh, yeah, that can be a bit of a loaded question, but like I've run a couple of Valheim servers, and this one by far is the most awesome. Maybe it's because it attracted the most awesome people. Maybe because we all collectively learned a lot from it. Family, yeah. You know what? Family is not just bound by blood, and it's who you feel most comfortable with, in my opinion. So yeah, I guess I do. These are people that I feel like I can trust, which for me is already like kind of rare. So yeah, I think he has a point there because it feels like a really tight knit group, and we all respect what we do. We all know how things are done, even without every rule being written out to the detail, and that's just magic to me online, especially from what I've noticed before, at least.
I mean, Valheim has a way of doing that. It forms very Valheim servers tend to be very like smaller but very close knit communities.
Yes,
And so I'll add a little bit to his question because for me personally, like that's like the true magic of video games. And like so I'm gonna make an assumption here, Easy. Maybe
sure.
you can tell me if this is accurate or not. But I'm going to assume that you have a close relationship with your actual family. Is that wrong, or is that what would you say about
Ooh,
that?
yes and no. That is a long story that I do not want to get into
Yeah, you
online,
don't
but
need to go into all the details.
the
Yeah.
the people that I'm in contact with of my family are really close with me. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I say that is because I've noticed in my life and in other people's lives that when individuals don't have a close relationship with, it doesn't have to be their whole family, it just has to be at least a
Sure.
couple people in their family. If they don't have
Hmm.
that closeness, they get really close to online communities. So this is just assumptions, but I would assume that the asker of that question doesn't feel as much of a close bond with their family, and so they feel a closer bond in these online communities, whereas other people who
Maybe,
have a
yeah.
closer family situation tend not to feel as much. And for me, I actually relate to the viewer. Because for me, my dad died when I was a kid. I've been like alone in many situations. I live in a foreign country. Like I've had to deal with a bunch of stuff, like pretty much myself. But online communities are what made me not feel alone. So for me,
Mhm.
absolutely, like Valheim communities feel like my family, and especially once I started the Enigma project and everything. Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. But I think again, it
Oh
has
yeah,
to do with the person's life, and it has to do like if
it is
I
like
felt
that because
satisfied with the people in my physical life, and if like I felt supported by my friends and family, I probably
yeah,
wouldn't feel like I need to get that from an online community, but I don't get that from my friends and family, so I
yeah,
do
the drive
feel
to
like
look
I
for
need to
that
get it.
somewhere else
Exactly,
would be,
exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
would be lower, of course. I get that, and no, I think you're spot on without getting well, without assuming too much of people's lives, of course. But
Yeah. We're speaking in
we tend to
generalizations,
look,
so
yeah, of course, yeah,
obviously
we,
it's
we
going
tend
to
to look for
be,
things we want in if we can get it here, and then maybe over there, and
yeah.
I try to include literally everybody, right? If someone does not think the way I think, so we don't need to be enemies,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, as
know.
long as they don't
We
cause
still have
problems for
fun.
other people, really.
Exactly that, and that's the
Yeah.
key point. Yeah.
All right, so now let's move on to Emma the Potatoes question. She said, we all
Ooh.
know your passion for signs in Valheim. Signs in Valheim have had many phases in the early years, and I was wondering what got you into signs. What do you think of the progression over the years, as well as your favorite sign options? Smiley face.
Oh, Emma. I love Emma. Um, so I never really think of it as science necessarily. Not the way she does it, at least.
Oh, sorry. Just to be clear, that's my accent. She says signs, like
Oh, science.
the
Oh, not science.
signs. Yes, not
Oh
science.
shit. Okay.
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
I have to. Science. Science. Could you redo the question because I was going off
Yeah,
a very
yeah,
different
yeah.
topic here.
One second. Hello, Crumbs. By the way, Crumbs just said hello.
Hey, Grums.
So Emma's question was, we all know your passion for signs in Valheim. Signs in
Yes.
Valheim have many phases in the early years, and I wonder what got you into signs. What do you think of the progression over the years, as well as your favorite
Oh shit.
sign options?
All right. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So I don't have a specific love for signs or signage necessarily.
Sounds
However,
like she begs to differ. She
no, no,
sounds
no,
very
I'll,
confident that you like
I'll
signs a
get to it.
lot.
I like them a lot now because I know a lot more about them. It basically came when there was a turning point in some update, 0.2, whatever. I don't fully remember. The first, for me, the first YouTube video that did sort of well, actually, that baffled me, was about the signs. In that update, there was something that was not in the change log or in dev logs or whatever you want to call them, but suddenly an entire world opened up. You could give them color, and now it was like, oh shit, wait, if this is possible, what else is possible? So I dug into it
Offset.
in a way like I know what engine the game's built up on. What are the options for textiling within that engine? So if it is possible technically within the engine, it could be possible on signs, and that is when it started snowballing. And I guess I've experimented a whole lot with it. And what is my favorite thing? My favorite thing they removed, honestly, actually. Yeah, they went through a couple iterations because they were like, how do I say that? At first, it was really simple: sign, enter text, done. Then you could enter codes on a sign, like hex codes for color and stuff. That code would stay in the string in the text field in its entirety. Very easy to edit, very cool, and text glowed and everything, which is a bit weird because the sign is supposed to be wood and charcoal, but game logic.
Yeah.
um, it was handy in a game that has a lot of dark periods and dark biomes, so it makes sense that it has it. So I guess that's my favorite like era of the sign and the code behind it. And later they changed it. They took away the glowing because I guess they wanted it go to a bit more realism or something. And they made it so
Probably
the text
they
input
just
field didn't
updated
display the
something,
code.
and then it.
Yeah.
I've just learned that when Iron Gate changes things, like sometimes they're just changed for other reasons. It isn't because they purposefully were like, oh, we want to get
Oh
rid of
yeah.
this, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. They tend not to do that a whole lot, and when they are, they're pretty public about it. So if something changes and they
Yeah.
didn't mention it, probably it's because they updated Unity to a new version or something like
And they
that.
did.
Yeah, so that was definitely something I liked as well. My
Plus,
favorite thing about the signs is the
yeah.
colors and that you can offset them. You know what I
Oh, you
mean?
can
So the
you can do
sign's
so much
block
more.
is like in the ground,
Yeah.
and then you make something float. Like that, I love
Oh
that
yeah.
part. So I can still do that. I'm happy,
It's
relatively
so
happy.
amazing, such amazing things. Morning Darkness came up with a lovely rainbow you could have on top or over your base.
Yeah,
With the sign. It's a fairly simple design, but because of the simplicity, it's really hard to think about for some reason. So
yeah,
stuff like that is amazing.
yeah. And they also changed
Yeah.
they changed the signs functioning recently, and it actually screwed Dakar over a bunch. He had to like
Oh
redo.
no.
He had to redo like a bunch of the consoles for his Heimdivers project, but they changed the shader basically. So it used to be that you could put like a big white circle, and it would invert all the colors you look through.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So like you could make a big white circle and look through it, and you'd see the Valheim world, but it's all in black and white. It was
Yeah, I
super
remember
cool.
that.
Like you could make these really cool like building elements and little things. But now it doesn't do that anymore. Now it's just white, so it's kind of boring.
Now it's like solid white.
Yeah, they changed the things that have opacity. you can't as
Yeah.
easily give the colors opacity, and if you have two signs like in the same position, they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
flicker. So you have to like
Ah.
separate the sign's actual body. Even if the
Mm-hmm.
image it projects is in the same place, that's fine. But it used to be you could just stack all the signs on top of each other and the text wouldn't. It'd be a little bit of flickering, but not a whole lot. After the
Yeah.
recent Call to Arms update, completely broke that. So now if you put
Oh
signs
man.
right next to each other, they flicker a lot. So you have to separate the signs and then use horizontal offset and all that kind of stuff to make the image
Oh,
look
such a
more
bunch of
central.
extra work.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
extra work.
no,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I'm sad for the car. You can fix it though, I'm
He
sure.
figured it
But
out. No, he actually
yeah,
he figured it out without having to do the horrible thing that would have made him redo a bunch of things. So it all
good.
worked out.
It's still in early access. We tend to forget about it because of how popular it is. But it is
Yeah,
still an
yeah.
early
I
access
always
game,
wonder
and
about that.
they're in their full rights to change things however they like, or maybe by accident. Because
Yeah,
in terms of science, it wasn't even in the dev logs. So technically, they don't owe us any functionality,
yeah. I
right?
mean,
We
even if it
just yeah,
was like, let's be real, they can just change their
yeah,
mind. You
they can,
know.
they absolutely can. Yeah, we just have to adapt, and we
Yeah.
will.
So let's move on to Sage Sirath's question. So they ask, "What's your take on the skill drain on death mechanic?" And then there's a follow-up
All
question,
right.
but I'll ask that after.
Okay. This was actually also a discussion in the Valheim section of my Discord. Um, so I accidentally answered that in the Discord before I knew it was
But
a
that was
question from
pre.
you.
You were preparing for this.
I mean, yes, this was preparation. I'm prepared. Um, what is my take on that? Yeah, I guess a little background because in the server, before we do a boss fight, we have a little mini competition called that I dubbed Stat Champion. Right? So people give me their three highest stats, that's their score, and we basically compete against each other who's the best. And then we have a skill issue award as well for the lowest. So I guess with that came a lot of awareness for skill drain after death, because people are dying left, right, and center, as is usual with Valheim.
So
And if
punishing.
it's fair or not. So do I think it's fair? I don't know. It depends. It all depends on are you your willingness to deep dive into mechanics,
Let's
learn the
be clear.
mechanics.
You're talking about losing 5% of experience
Yes.
when you die, right? Or
Yeah.
skill level and experience.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about the 5%.
The default.
Yeah, the default. Yeah, we don't mod that piece. But yeah, no. There is it fair? I don't know. I feel like it's barely noticeable or neglectable when you're lower level, lower to mid. But when you get a couple skills at level 100, 5% is 5 points.
Hours.
So hours, because those last percentages tend to take up way longer to gain
Yeah.
than the first five. Before I don't know, when I started a new world, I'm swimming level 3 before I know it. Like, huh, have I even swam? You know, but dude, is it fair? I don't know. I think when you get up to a level and when you get to a level 100, what's the word here? Um, but not by training it, but what is the word? Like naturally, in a natural way, you know? Not by sitting in front of Twig or the target to just practice anything. Um, if you get to it generically, like that, like naturally, I feel like you've played so much that you can kind of understand the game mechanics and have the knowledge to be extra careful, if that makes sense. So the setback for dying could be a bit more severe. So that in itself, I think, is fine. But when you pair that with the skill ramp that comes, especially from Mistlands to Ashlands, and you still rocking like levels in the 20s, then you're gonna have a hard time. So is it fair? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe up until level 50 of your skill, it could be 5%, and maybe later it would be 2 to 3% or something. That would balance it out, I think, a bit more. But yeah,
So,
because you need to do so much more work in those later levels.
yeah, yeah. So,
So yeah.
So what if you could change that? Would you keep it the same, or would you change it? And if you
Well,
did change it, what would you change?
the nice thing about Valheim, they have a test branch, so I think I would attempt to change it. I think I would attempt to change it, like I said, to around halfway point. We keep the 5%, and maybe later 3 and maybe 2 in the end. Maybe, but it all depends. It all
Yeah.
depends, because dying is a penalty. You
Yeah,
already
I
have no
mean,
skill drain when you go back for your grave, so
yeah,
it
it's
already
funny.
means you're halfway there, I feel.
So just for clarity, for those of you listening, Valheim, you don't need mods to change the skill loss on death. You have like, I think there's like 4 options through the world modifiers. Um, so I've ran worlds on normal and also on worlds with no death penalty, and I won't go too much into the details, but okay. Do you consider Dark Souls a punishing game?
Well, I've only ever watched it.
Ah, you haven't played it.
Um,
Okay.
well, no, it's not entirely true. I played it for like 10 minutes at a friend's laptop.
Yeah, probably not the best
Uh,
thing for me to ask, but we'll keep going.
no, but I can see how this is played, and a friend of mine is really a sucker, like a glutton for punishment in that sense, because he'll dies happily 600 times. Shout out to you, Eon. Um, it's a grind, and you gotta love it, or you're gonna hate the game. I think for me, it would not be enjoyable at all. I had a little
So,
taste of that in Grounded 2,
mhm.
because I forgot a whole tier of armor. It's totally my fault, but I did not particularly enjoy it. I don't think
So
personally,
the
for
reason
me,
I
it makes
ask
good content.
the reason I ask you about
Yeah.
Dark Souls is because in Dark Souls, it's known as an incredibly punishing game, but you don't lose your skill level, your current character level.
Right.
So Valheim does something that Dark Souls does not do. Like the way it works in Dark Souls
Yes.
is basically you can cash in and get your
Hmm.
experience. And if you haven't done that and you die twice, you lose all of it. But you don't lose a percentage of your character's value. In like, so I
Mm-mm.
understand from a player's perspective how this seems like a thing like, oh, is 5% too high? Is 1% too low?
Right.
From a game development perspective, it's bad game design. Like, you should never remove something that the player believes is part of their character, because doing so is usually very ineffective. It usually
Got
causes
it.
the players to get, they feel like something was taken from their life. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's
that
very,
makes sense.
very, very harsh. So from my perspective, it doesn't matter
Hmm.
if it's 5% or 1%. It's still too harsh. You're already punished by
Well,
dying. You have to go get your stuff, and you lose all of your skill progression for that level. So why is it
yes and no.
necessary? You know what I
Yes and no.
mean?
Because I think the entire gameplay loop, not the loop necessarily, but just the experience of playing the game is completely different. Um, from my point of view, playing Valheim and controlling it, and just the way it's set up, I guess, is more enjoyable than dying over and over.
Hmm.
You in Dark Souls, as if I go off of what you just said, you don't lose anything, so you can keep dying over and over, right?
Well, sort of. You can die in a different way. But if you die the same way twice, you lose your progress. So it's very
Oh, okay,
punishing.
okay.
You basically are
Huh.
forced to like, if you start death looping, the second
Hmm.
death will take everything away. So you can't
Ah,
death loop in that same way. It's a different
so
mechanic. So that's why, because you haven't played the
yeah,
game much, it was a bad question
no,
for me to ask. I just assumed. Sorry,
but
I
I,
get
I
all
think
dark,
it's
by the
still
way. I'm relying on
no,
some
no.
window lighting.
Oh, no, it's still interesting to me. Um, because there is some lore to be made. Because nobody says your Viking is alive in Valheim. You're in the 10th world. You're already dead, and
Yeah.
maybe your spirit is just degrading by dying. I don't know. There's no actual written lore for
Yeah,
this that I
yeah.
know
No,
about,
I
but
understand that there's ways to swing it. It's just like from my
yeah.
perspective, you look at the gameplay and what it causes players to do. And in general, a game like Valheim, to use something we did earlier, you should, give them tools, not rules. So basically, what they're doing
True.
by having such a punishing death penalty is they're forcing people to
Hmm.
not die often. And for me
Yeah,
personally,
basically.
that meant that every time I ever play Valheim, my skills never go above 30 because I don't not die. I don't want to
And
play
dying
that
is
way. I don't
funny.
enjoy it. It's hilarious,
It's
exactly.
hilarious. You want to do
So
it.
like
I get
from
it.
my perspective, it's absurd that they even take any percentage away, right? But I understand that like in general, like I've
Yeah.
had the benefit of running a custom server and tweaking mechanics and seeing what players
Yeah.
actually do for like over a year. So I have a lot of like practice to pull from, and that's
You have a
helped
lot of
me
data from those
understand that like
playthroughs.
Iron Gate does
Yeah.
a lot of things that are like they sort of one element of Valheim's design will contradict another element. So Valheim, like from my perspective, it's a
Hmm.
masterpiece that gets in the way of itself, so most people don't
Okay.
experience it as a masterpiece. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Um, well, of course, they do want still a penalty for dying. That could be just running back to your grave, honestly. Could be. But
I
sometimes
mean,
that's
it's a
just.
huge fucking penalty, especially on
I
no
mean, it
portals.
really
Holy shit.
depends. It really depends where your last portal is, where you died,
Yeah,
what biome you
exactly.
died. You know, there's so many variables. How would you do it? How would you change it? Would you make
I
it more
mean,
like Dark
we
Souls
yeah,
in this
we already
case?
changed it basically. So
Oh,
on Path of Magic or on Enigma, so the world itself is super hard. It's on very hard combat. It's no map, no portals, but there's no
yeah.
death penalty.
Okay.
So basically, you die, you lose your progression to the next level. So like if you got
Mm-hmm.
halfway to level 68, you're gonna be level 68 with 0. Make
Yeah,
sense?
that doesn't make a difference.
But you're not
That
gonna
is noticeable.
like lose skill levels. You just reset your progress to the next one. And I found that like
Yeah.
players who don't like dying will still die less. They will avoid dying. Players who are
Mm-hmm.
happy to just die can now play how they want to. So from my perspective,
That is true.
it's not a mechanic that actually helps people, but people have a tendency to want to defend the way Valheim is. Make sense? Because
No,
we don't really
I'm open to
know
be critical. I'm open to be critical. I love
necessarily
the game,
what's
but
going to,
yeah.
we have to give Iron Gate some credit. There are a lot of things they have that way because
Oh yeah.
of something else, and they believe that without that, Valheim won't be what it is, you know? So
Well,
sometimes they're
we've been
right,
playing Valheim now for what, 4 years ish?
Long time.
No, well, those who played Alpha longer, obviously, but no, I'm not. I don't want to defend it because it's Valheim and I love it. No, I'm open to critique it because I love it. I want to see it grow and be better for everybody. But I've never really thought about it. Um, I've only now in this latest playthrough on the server have been very dialed into the levels, and now I'm noticing like a 5% difference, especially in the higher end, right? Because I do notice it with pulling a bow or whatever. But
Yeah.
before that, I'm like, I was
It's
more
so
oblivious than
so the
anything.
way it normally works isn't always so bad because just losing 5% once hurts, but it's not so horrible, really. The problem is that the way the loop works, it's totally possible to lose 5% and then
Hmm.
die 6 minutes later. Lose 5% again, die 8 minutes later, lose 5% again. And you literally
Hmm.
create a loop where your character is getting weaker by you playing. And it's really destructive for certain kinds of impatient
Correct.
players. And to be honest, most players are pretty
Most
impatient.
players
So,
are that. Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I've noticed.
But, but that's just my 2 cents. I'm not going to give my opinion on every one of these things. I just figured that one was more relevant.
No, I like your opinion on it. Nice little discussion.
So,
That was good.
So now let's move on to Swaggy Zebra's questions. She has 3 questions.
Ooh.
All right.
Of
The
course, he has
first
three
one.
questions.
The first one is, what is your dream Valheim update? Like, not what the favorite one was. What do you think the best possible update they could make
Hmm.
would be? I'm elaborating. That's all they said and why. So
If
I'm
I'm
assuming
allowed,
that that's what they were talking about.
if I'm allowed to dream, then I'm probably gonna go for something that is not a physical item in a game or not a mechanic necessarily. But if I'm truly allowed to dream, because I know this will never happen, then I wish that the that on like a medium tier PC, it could run above 60 with a high level of
Yeah.
buildings. But I know that requires a complete rewrite of the game. It will never happen.
That's that's
It
such.
will get better with, you know, things and tweaks and whatever, what have you. But if I'm allowed to dream, it will be like custom engine, basically like Enshroud is doing,
It's like
which is cool. I love.
a performance overhaul,
Literally.
basically. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Make the base on where we all stand on, all players stand on this base. Make that base sturdy and supportive of everyone, so that our experience gets lifted through that. Because if it runs great, I mean, I'm a graphics nerd. I love good graphics. I will not play on anything less than the highest one on Valheim, even if I'm playing 20 FPS. I don't care. I'm still. It needs to look nice for me. Um, yeah, get that fluent gameplay in and build from there. If you're talking features, it's a different question. But if I'm allowed to dream,
well,
I
I
think
mean,
this feels like the
if
biggest
you're
dream.
dreaming, that means that that's the thing important to you, and it's an interesting thing to
Yeah.
say because. So I completely agree with you. From my perspective, Valheim is not an optimized game, and you actually need quite a good computer to run it. But for some reason, there is absolutely this concept online that Valheim is like an outdated game that runs on weaker computers, and like I personally had to upgrade my computer twice to be able to run and stream
Same.
and make Valheim content. So
Yeah, I
like I
get it.
have no idea what.
Look, people see pixels, people think Minecraft, people think Commodore. I don't know. Stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I don't really understand the public sentiment sometimes. And that's another thing I
Uh,
get confused about is like you often find that the average player, so to speak, they have a lot of contradicting beliefs and it's like, wait a second, how do you feel that Valheim is a super outdated graphical game while also feeling that it has incredible lighting
well,
and like you
it
you know
does.
what I
It
mean?
does. But you got to understand, people go off of what they see, which is not even unfair. They see not too detailed meshes. They see pixels as big as your fist. Um, it doesn't look all that demanding. And the
Yeah.
thing that the very thing that makes it so heavy to run is nothing you can actually just point out and see. It's just the way things getting calculated behind the scenes. It's part of the building mechanic, but it's nothing that is obvious. It's not that there is like a 12 million polygon model, or you know,
Yeah.
it's nothing visual like that. So it's really difficult, I think, to form a good opinion on that if you don't dig deeper.
I mean
And that's very fair because
I
people don't need to do
started
that.
playing Valheim on lowest settings at like 20 frames per second. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how I got into it. That's the conditions
yeah.
I was playing in. You know what I mean? So like, for me, it's definitely maybe this because I live in Nicaragua. So in general, computing is more expensive here. You have to pay more for the same stuff. In general, it's like 30% more for new things. So I can get
Oh,
things, you
right.
know, but it's like it's more expensive. And in general, I don't have much money to spend on things. So like I get things through
Hey,
credit.
that's fair.
But that being said, I
That's
was
fair.
able to get a new computer thanks to like the support from YouTube and these things, and that's really awesome.
Ooh,
So
nice.
things are better now,
Good.
but I'm just saying,
Good.
like, I've always been boggled by that. Like, so I completely agree with you, man. The performance
But it is
thing.
like that. I upgraded my CPU basically, well my my system, and in my solo world, in front of my house that I built in the least efficient way possible because I think it looks better. Um, I got around 20-25 FPS by upgrading to just a CPU twice as fast ish. I got 80 to 90.
Yeah,
It didn't change the graphics card at all. Just
just the
CPU. Boom.
CPU. Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's you gotta really gotta know where to look, I guess, for to make this run good. But it's nothing the players should concern themselves with, and that's on the developers. And
Yeah,
I think that stems from how the game came to be. I don't know if you want to talk about the oranges of the game, but that would be a reason why.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
That makes sense. I'll
Yeah.
probably go down a rabbit hole if I start that. So let's focus on.
Yeah.
Someone has
Same.
a question. Fenzi has a question. Fenzi says, the game is based on Norse myth. So if you could put a creature in it, what will it be? Mine will be Jotun, the frost giant. So I guess he's asking
Ooh.
if you could put something from
Love it.
Norse mythology that isn't already in the game,
Hmm.
what would you put in?
Okay. I don't know a lot about Norse mythology. I most of what I know is because of Valheim and because of my Scandinavian friends. Hello. Teaching me about it. So I guess if I had to pick anything right now, like my knowledge is this big, instead of what it maybe should be. I don't know. Ice giants sound cool.
Yeah, I think that's what so basically
Yeah,
the Jotun are frost giants or
the
ice
Jotuns.
giants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the
So
Jotuns.
I guess I'm with you.
Yeah, so he
I guess
agrees.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
I have a
Or
feeling.
maybe it's not. No, it's not mythology. Why not more gods? They had a bunch. Why not just Odin peeking through your window?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole
Why why
bunch of
why why
stuff you
not
can pull
everyone?
from. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So if you look, I won't spoil things too much, but there's a way to get a screenshot of one of the teaser videos they did. They uploaded it in a file, and they show one, or sorry, they uploaded it to a cloud service that has a folder. And if you look in
Mm-hmm.
that folder, you can find another version of the same screenshot, and that version of the screenshot has a well, okay, so let me explain. You've seen the
I need some
Deep
files
North
later.
teaser context,
Yeah.
right? So have you seen the one where they have what looks like a village? It's like
Yes.
a village with updated stuff. Yeah. So that
I've
screenshot.
seen all the Herbert the voyage
Yeah, yeah.
text
So
teasers
I'll
so
send you
far.
what I'm
So
talking about. But basically,
thank
there's
you.
two versions of that screenshot, and actually, I guess I can just do it right now.
Ooh.
Give me a moment.
You, you could do it right now. We
Um,
won't show it live anyway, right?
I just need to make sure that yeah, it's. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't showing people's usernames, so we're good. Okay, so I'm gonna go into world editing here, and then there's an image in the spoilers. One second.
I didn't even know about that. That's great.
Yeah, you'll see it in a moment. One second. Where's?
I have some seconds.
I don't remember where the comparison image is.
While you look for that,
Ah, here we go.
I mean, King Borto has a good thing here. A cooking slash farming update with the side of herbalism for the potions. They could go like a lot deeper into a lot of aspects of the game, and I would totally love it. Good for the
So,
stay-at-home Viking. Hmm?
so the reason I'm bringing this up is because you were talking about frost giants. So if you look at the actual release, this is what they share. So it's a character sitting in the bottom right, and
Right?
then in
And maybe
the
spoilers,
top,
chat.
yeah, yeah. This is so you're gonna. I mean, this is sort of spoilers, but the next thing is more spoilers. So like, don't
Okay.
look at the next thing, okay? If you don't want that. But
Look away for
basically,
15 seconds, guys.
yeah, exactly. Look away for 15 seconds. So if you look at the other one, what's
Yeah.
that?
Wait, you
You
go
see
back.
this?
Hang on.
You'll
What?
see it in a second because the stream's a bit delayed and you're looking at that, right?
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
basically, there's the same image, but there's something in the top left that looks exactly like a troll, except it has a longer nose. I don't know
Oh,
if you
no
can see
way.
it very well, but it's definitely something. So I don't know if they were just trying to
I,
troll people and like they
I need those
purposefully
images.
left that extra screenshot in the folder to reward someone who
You
looked
think
for
so?
it, or if it was a mistake. Like I don't know. I feel like they did it on purpose, and this is actually
All
so
right.
basically they're gonna have some kind of rock troll in the deep north, but
Am
we'll see
I?
what actually happens.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Okay, so for chat, it may not even be a huge spoiler because to me it was very hard to see. Um,
Yeah, no, it's very well hidden. Like definitely very well hidden.
you make me more hyped now. But it's always with Valheim with updates. I remember from Mistlands, we saw those big carts. You know what I'm talking about when I say that? The huge carts
The
in the mining
huge
areas
carts.
in Mistlands.
Oh yes, yeah, they showed the ones in the excavation sites for the
Yes,
diverger. Yeah, yeah.
and I really hope that locks could pull them, but they're just immovable objects.
Oh, the mounts need so much work. That's that's a whole other subject. You're right
Not
though,
necessarily.
definitely.
It's very simple with me. Like if I see something in the game, give me a way to make it. I don't care
Seems
how
fair.
long the grind for it is. Give me a way to make it.
So you want to be able to
Anything.
make all the stuff at Halder's camp and like these kind of
That I
things.
want to be able to make everything in the fueling villages. I want to make everything, the walls in the excavation sites in Mistlands. I want them. Give them to me, please. I'll happily
Oh,
grind 100
oh,
hours.
here's a good question. It's easy too. When do you think they will release 1.0? Well, easy to answer.
By June.
By June. Interesting. So you think in
I'm not saying a year.
you're
Careful.
saying quarter one or quarter two then, basically.
I'm not naming a year. Okay.
So I
No, I
polled
don't know.
I polled my community on YouTube, and they all like very confidently think it'll be in Q1.
Yeah.
I don't personally. I've learned personally that I'll expect something from Iron Gate and then I'll feel let down. So the moment
Yeah.
I detect
Yeah.
that I'm expecting something to happen, nah, fuck it. So I'm telling myself Q4, like December, it's gonna come out. But I don't know what'll actually happen, you
Yeah,
know?
like I say June because the song that Emma and I did, we joke about that, about the release date of 1.0. And of course, we had a kind of a discussion in the Falcon Discord about it,
Yeah.
but with the PlayStation release and all that, right? So there's so many facets to it. I don't know if they release it. How long? We had to wait for 18 months for Mistlands, or longer. Was it Ashlands or Mistlands? One of the two. It's about the same, like more
They're
than a
both
year.
quite long, to be
Yeah,
honest.
they were both quite long, honestly. And you got to remember, for 1.0, it's not just another biome. It's they're finishing the game. They're 1.0ing the game, okay?
Yeah.
So it's not just here have another biome that we can tweak later. They will, of course, do bug fixes. I'm sure of that. But
Almost
it's tweaks
certainly it's
everywhere.
going to be 1.0 and then
Yeah,
later PlayStation. People think it's going to come out at the same time. You have to
nah,
understand that would require Iron Gate coordinating with another studio, and Iron Gate
yeah,
struggles to coordinate with themselves because the
yeah.
port is
That's not
handled by
happening.
another studio, not Iron Gate. So
I
depending
don't
on
think
how
it'll
you think
be
about
together.
that, it could
Yeah.
line up, but probably 1.0 will come out and then
Well, you got to
they'll
understand
test things, you know.
every console release, being Xbox or PlayStation or whatever new console comes to the market, it doesn't matter because those versions will be ported because there will be ports, of course. It will be done by different studios. Iron Gate is not actually working on it themselves, but if they want to release both at the same time, like you said, there will be have to be a lot of extra back and forth
Yeah.
because in between making, they're also testing and seeing what works. And I don't know, no, I don't think that's going to happen. I
The
really don't think that's
community
going to
does.
happen. Not together. Well, if they do, props, great. If it works, great.
Yeah.
But
I think
like you
people
said, I
like
don't want to.
to fantasize a bit, you know.
Yeah,
Like
fantasizing is good, but I don't want to feel let down, like you said,
yeah,
because I want
exactly.
all these things, and then yeah, here's a fraction. I'm still happy, but eh, you know,
All right,
yeah.
so I'll move on to more of Swaggy's questions because we only asked her first one and then I asked some current
Oh,
questions.
oh yeah, go.
So the next one is a very specific question. I maybe there's some context that makes this make more sense to you, but
Oh God.
if you had to increase the maximum size of a specific fish in Valheim to 10 giant, what fish would it be? It can only be one.
And what size would it be? Or what?
10.
That was up to me.
No,
10.
it's got to be 10.
Okay, five's the maximum now, and that's already a chunker. Okay,
Yeah, 10's a big fish. I've made that with commands before. They're huge.
I love it though, but yeah, no,
They're like whales.
we have everything with fish. I lay them in my bed. They're my buddies, but
That explains
little
the
buddies.
question.
Yeah, yeah, that explains part of the. It goes deeper. Let's not go into it. I don't know. I love the pike. I love how derpy and dead the pike looks in his face. You know, the expression. It, it's so simple. It's just a line
Yeah,
and a
yeah, it's
dot. That's his
funny.
mouth and his eyes. It's great. So I'm guessing either that if we do the tuna is basically a big mirror. That would not look great. And the trollfish I feel is too bulky already. No, I go for pike. Pike all the way.
So you'd
I'll
pick
think
a
pike all the way.
level 10 pike, a whale
Yes,
pike.
but because imagine like a pufferfish level 10, the spikes would be huge. It would be a death trap. It would be a sea mine, like an actual
Get stuck
aquatic
in your
mine.
boat. Yeah. They do look like sea mines.
Kinda, yeah.
That's funny.
I'd go for
So
pike.
Crumb says that he thinks it'll be out before Elder Scrolls 6.
100%. Yeah.
100%.
100%. I don't trust Bethesda as far as I can throw it. It's just, and that's not very far.
Well, that's
It just
comforting.
works. God dang it.
So I'll read Fenzi's comment and then Crumb's question. So Fenzi says, I have a theory where there will be new maps other than the one you were on, because when you go into the map and someone out there is placed for more planet, aka more maps. Yeah, so I think they're saying basically that they
Oh,
feel like maybe when you beat Deep North, it'll allow you to go to a new world or something, but I don't know how
okay.
because you can just do that already. So I
Well,
don't
I
know.
think what Zig means here, there's a lot of space around the existing map. So you think that there's space for an expansion outside the circle because there's so much space outside it.
Ah, okay. That's funny. 'Cause that's literally what I'm doing in Enigma Mode.
See, it allows for creative playthroughs.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
listen, Zig. Okay, if that's ever gonna happen, I'm talking to Zig directly now. If that's ever gonna happen, I don't think it will, but if it's ever gonna happen, I'll give you a free mug. I don't think it will happen, but you'll get a new one of these for free. Okay?
The
I don't
idea is
think I
cool,
don't think it will.
definitely. I think like that's the idea behind these cross server portals. So that's something I really
Yeah.
wish Vanilla Valheim had. But basically, there's a mod called cross server portals, and you can
Oh,
put a portal in your world, and just going into that portal logs you into another server like automatically.
that's sick.
So it's really cool. Like you just go into the
Mhm.
Valheim splash screen, and then you're in another world, and like
Uh,
that stuff's
provided
super
that
cool.
second server is not password protected and has the same mods or,
Well,
or is
no,
vanilla or whatever.
basically the portal has the password.
Oh, you set it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's super
I
cool.
love that.
Like super super cool.
I love that. That's a great use of portals.
So here, let me
I'm
get
down.
to Crumb's question real quick. So Crumb says, I have a question. What will we all do the day Valheim is no longer Crumbs, Valheim's already not relevant. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Sorry, I'm half joking. So he says, I have a question. What will we all do the day Valheim is no longer relevant? I think about this a lot because
Uh,
Valheim and the community is a big part of my life.
what do you
That
mean
is a deep
relevance?
question. Damn.
Would you still enjoy playing it if it's no longer relevant in the public eye? Would you still enjoy, I don't know, making
From
content
my
about it or
perspective,
whatever
it's
you're doing?
not been relevant for ages, so we got nothing to worry about. We're already playing in the lowness of it. So like it releasing,
Yeah, we are. We are
it's
actually.
gonna release, and then there's gonna be more players, and then there's gonna be less players, but there's still
Mhm.
gonna be more players than now.
So you got to ask, what does relevancy mean here? Is it that the entire world or the entire gaming world is hyped about it, curious about it, what have you, or because we have this Valheim community will always be more interested and for longer interested in this game. So I think we've already now for years created like a big group of people that are having a love of Valheim, much as you do as well, right? And I do, and we do. Um, I don't think relevancy matters because there's always already a group of people that love it,
Yeah,
and
from
as
my
long as you love
perspective,
it,
it's a very relevant question for people like Ninebyte who made really big YouTube channels in the era where there was a lot of
right?
attention. Because for a channel like that, once the game is less popular, like it's a huge problem for you to keep focusing on the content when you no longer can do that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So like I understand where Crumbs is coming from. I just find it funny because like
Okay.
analytically Valheim is not at a high point. Let's say.
No, it bobs up and down a bit, but it's in terms of content and creation of it, it's a little bit different. But in terms of, I guess, hanging in discourse and communities to play it, to create stuff, is different again. I don't think in that last part it's as relevant, but content wise, if you create your own whole channel about it, and I'm not a big channel on YouTube, um, but I upload 99.99999% it's Valheim, so I would be in that same boat. Um, Maybe I already am. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean that's a gamble. It's
Yeah,
something that I've
it always
so
is. Yeah.
I'm basically making a gamble on YouTube because I specialize in content that only okay, let me put it this way. At the peak of Valheim, there were millions of players, right?
Hmm.
Ultimately, the most active players there were 500,000, but that was during the COVID pandemic. This is never going to happen again unless there's some
No.
world war or a pandemic or some crazy thing that puts everybody inside. So it's not really realistic
Yeah.
to compare that era. But my point is you can get demographical data from that era. And so out of those approximately 500,000 peak players,
Hmm.
71 one out of 71 of them has the or sorry, 1 out of 71 players will make a server. And
Okay.
so that means basically 1/71th of people will just make a server. That doesn't mean they're making mods. That doesn't mean they're actually having other people join the server. That doesn't mean they're running a community. Okay, so in
Hmm.
general, when you actually have a Valheim community, that's like 1 out of every 100 or 1 out of every 200 people. But basically, what I'm saying is
Sure.
on my YouTube channel, I make content that caters to server managers and server developers for a niche game. So basically, I make niche content for a niche game while that game isn't very popular, right? So basically, the reason I'm elaborating on this is because of what Crumb said. Like, from my perspective, it's the great gamble because
Hmm.
it all depends on what you think is going to happen to Valheim. Has Valheim peaked and it's basically going to fade into irrelevance? Or is the community going to pick it back up and re-peak it? You know, you either believe one
Yeah.
or the other pretty much. So what I'm gambling on is that the community will pick Valheim up after Iron Gate puts it down. So basically, Iron Gate needs to officially mark it as 1.0, and they need to say it's a done game. And from that
Hmm.
point on, then it's up to the community to pick it up. So what I'm gambling on is that by then I'll have so
Oh.
many videos about how to do this that I'll be the one to go to. But if that never happens, I just spent years of my life for nothing, right? So
I'll say for
it all
nothing,
depends how it
but
goes, right? Yeah,
I
not for
get what you're
nothing. I'm being
saying, though.
hyperbolic.
No,
But I see
I
where
get what you're
Crumbs is
saying,
coming
though.
from. Yeah, it's like you don't know what's gonna happen. Like in my head though, I know that Iron Gate is early release technically, but have you heard the phrase it's like used in rules. There's like what is the phrase? God damn, it means like how things are on paper and how they are
Uh-huh.
in reality. Make sense?
Oh God.
You know the phrase, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I can't think of it. I think I know what you mean, though.
De jure and de facto. That's it. Those are the phrases.
I
They're
would have
Latin
never been able to.
phrases. Yeah, I listen to a bunch of old men on YouTube about geopolitics, and so they often
Ah,
use de
fun.
jure and de facto, right? So basically,
Okay.
Valheim is early release in de jure, but de facto, it's a finished game that most people
Right.
who've played it have already played, right? So that's what I believe. But when 1.0 comes out, we're gonna see for real because if if Valheim really isn't released yet, then when it actually
Hmm.
releases, it's going to become really popular. You know, I personally don't think
It's
that's
gonna
going to
definitely
happen.
pick up.
I think it'll pick up and then drop back
Hmm.
down until the
Oh yeah.
community does something that actually changes that beginning gameplay loop. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that will happen. It will. For one, it will not be popular or relevant in that case forever. Um, it's always gone that way though. Release, oh, it's something new. Oh, it's spiking, and then it sizzles out maybe a bit slower. Then
Yeah.
there's an update. It spikes again. It goes down a bit faster,
Yeah, you got
and
to look
after
at the
more time, like 18
baseline
months, it spikes and drops
after the
even faster.
spike. Because basically,
After
in
the spike,
all
the
game
community now.
devs,
Yeah.
it'll there's an update, it spikes and it drops down, and then there's a new baseline. that
Hmm.
baseline is what actually shows you how much the game grew because of that update. So Valheim's in a
Yeah.
situation where it has updates, but if you look at its baseline, it's like almost identical to what it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's growing a teeny, 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 tiny bit, but it's not
Yeah.
like, if you look at the analytics of Valheim, the updates aren't successful, unfortunately. So like, I could get into that, but I don't want to get too derailed there. I already talked a lot. So let's move on to one of Swaggy Zebra's third question. Okay, here we
Yes.
go.
He's in chat now as well. Hi.
So, if you had to create a brand new biome inspired by a country, what country and why? And what type of
Country.
biome would it be? Like a forest, mountain, cave, desert, etc.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was not prepared for these. Which I actually requested. What country would the biome be based on if I would make a biome? And what characteristics would it have? Huh. All right. So we have biomes that give you a debuff for cold. Why not one that gives you a debuff for heat? That makes a lot of sense. It comes with a lot of creative armor decisions. I'm down for it. I don't know what country it is specifically based on, but that's what I'm thinking. So warm biome. Very creative. Something warm, maybe with caves. Um, I think you're muted towards me.
Ah, sorry, there we go.
Okay, cool. There you go.
Iron Gate got asked that once, and they firmly believe that it's cultural appropriation if they do anything from another
Really?
situation. And I was like, damn, wait, does that mean I can't make anything about any other thing that's not my own culture? Because I don't have a culture. I'm
What about
screwed.
fluids? What about snow then? Why not just live in a vacuum of space and call yourself a Viking?
Yeah. Oh.
No, but imagine being able to tunnel. Oh,
Yeah.
you know?
An underground area would be pretty interesting. That's definitely like,
Yeah.
maybe that's something, to be honest. This is bordering fantasy, but there is reason to believe there will be underground elements in the deep north. But okay, I'll go out on a limb here and make a bet. My bet is that there
Hmm.
will be a dungeon in the deep north, and you will find it in locations that are like ruined Valheim houses or something, ruined Viking houses. And there's like a tunnel entrance inside where they abducted the Viking. That's like the visual storytelling, and that just using the teasers. I don't know if this is actually going to be right, but I was right about Ashlands, so maybe I'll be right
What
about
thing about
this.
Ashlands?
No, about like the meteors and the having to use the shield tunnels to protect from the
Ah,
environment so you can build and stop the fire. And I
all
wasn't perfectly
right.
right because they actually took the meteors out of the gameplay. So they had a bunch of stuff in Ashlands that they removed, but it
Yep.
used to be that there were storms and meteors could fall out of the sky and like blow up. They ended up getting rid of that. It was too destructive, I suppose. So what actually happens is you just get these embers that fall, and then they can catch
Yep.
things on fire. You don't get any meteors, like, even though they showed a whole teaser video showing the meteors falling. But those
They
meteors
did,
are
yeah.
still in the game files. So you can do custom projects where you spawn the meteor up above the player and then it falls onto them.
You
It's
can
pretty
get them
funny.
legit as well. By magic.
By Matt, what do you mean?
There's a blood magic staff to spawn
Ah, you mean the troll.
thing. Yeah,
Ah,
that
yeah,
comes
does
down
the
as a meteor.
troll. Ah, yeah, okay,
Mhm.
so that is different. That is a visual effect with
Yeah,
damage.
no, absolutely. It's not an environmental
Yeah,
thing,
so there's
but
actually a meteor game object that you can spawn like up in the sky and it spins
mhm.
and falls and then explodes. But the thing
Yep.
you're talking about is another meteor. There's a bunch of meteors because Fader has a
Oh God.
meteor. There's the meteor from the troll staff that you mentioned. And then there's a
Mhm.
small meteor they removed and a large meteor that they removed. So those are all Ashland's things. But so yeah,
I'm
Helheim, that's
so
another
intrigued
good
now
one.
because of your prediction.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the
Yeah.
the reason I say that is because so they have a tunnel where like, okay, the Herber character is somewhere and she has to escape. So she either fell there or she got abducted. Like, you can't be somewhere and have to escape unless you fell there or you got abducted. Like, how'd you get
I
there?
think I think I
You know what I
missed
mean?
some teasers then. I
At least
started
that
to
was my
let.
impression. It's kind of hard. Maybe I'm like over analyzing it, but my impression was she's in a cave and she has to get out of the cave. She has to like escape it. I guess it could be like they're exploring the cave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Could be.
I'm not really sure.
I mean, it could be loads of things because we just want new content so badly that that we're willing to make stuff up. Um, it's just who we are because we're that enthusiastic and we love the game so much.
Yeah. But so they show basically they show that, but then they also show like this pit, and it has all these
Mhm.
roots, and the camera like goes down into the pit, so that it kind of insinuates that like there's a hole you
You can go
fall
down.
into. Make
Yeah,
sense? And then if you
yeah.
look in the other, there's another screenshot, and it shows like a kitchen that's like all ruined, and there's like these busted up boards all sideways in the corner. So that's why I think the entrance to the dungeon is basically some building with a hole in it. But that's just yeah. I don't know if that's actually gonna happen.
I'm looking through things to see if I've missed anything right now,
I think that how many of the Herber stories are there? Like six, seven,
but right now there are a total of 8.
eight? Oh, maybe I missed one.
26th of November was the last one.
Let's see. I want to see if I missed any in the chat here.
Looking. Wow, I know a lot of people have a lot better eye for detail when it comes to these things and interpretation of what they're seeing than I sometimes have. This is those are insane theories and I love them. But
Yeah, they're
again, I
just
don't want to be
theories.
let down necessarily. you
Well,
know?
there's definitely going to be. I can say some things with confidence that you can blame me if I let you down here. But Grimcore
No, 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 no,
said
no. Oh,
Grimcore said that the Deep North is the last biome, and that it should have more weapons and all the build pieces. So unless that's changed,
mhm.
there is a lot of build pieces that were in Ashlands that they almost put in Ashlands, but then they decided to keep them until Deep North, where they're letting all of them be available. So the Deep North is like once you're in Deep North,
All of them.
all of them, yeah, whatever that means. But he specifically talked in a way that made it seem like okay, there's going to be more here, and I was surprised because the
Mhm.
Ashlands has fuckloads of weapons. Like I love the
Yes.
weapons of the Ashlands, but it's got so many weapons and so many cool features. It's like players don't get a chance to use those. Like that's the bigger problem than adding more weapons, if that makes sense. But anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked here and take up too much time. So let me address one thing Crumb said.
No, you're right.
I I don't want to come off the wrong way, Crumbs. I don't think that Deep North is going to be bad for Valheim. I think them launching it is going to be good. What I was trying to get at earlier is like Valheim isn't a popular game. Like it's just not. I know we love it. I think it's the best game ever. It's my favorite game. I've put like 4,000 plus hours into it and I develop it like a full-time job. That being said, most people aren't like that. Most people aren't that into Valheim. They're just not. So you don't have to worry about Deep North having a spike and then there being less players because we're already in the point where Valheim is less relevant. So, like, if you want some inspiration, you should check out Snazzy Games on YouTube because even though Valheim is not a very relevant game, when he streams, he gets like 200 or 300 people watching him just play Valheim. So, like, it is possible to make a Valheim focused YouTube channel, even right now, when Valheim, for the most part, is not a very relevant game to people. Like, it really isn't. Like, if you look at, like, people will share those top 10 charts on Steam, right? And Valheim's there. Yeah, it's there
Yeah.
because of 5 years ago. Like, it's not there because of anything that's happened recently. It's just not. Like, Valheim in a day gets between 10,000 and 50,000 active players, which is awesome compared to like a basic indie game or other games. But as far as like
Absolutely.
mainstream games people play, that's nothing. Like, it really isn't. So you don't have to worry, Crumbs. All I'm saying is like, there's no way that Deep North is going to come out and then Valheim is going to be less popular than it is right now. Like, I feel like that's just impossible. That's not going to happen.
That's
The
not
thing
gonna
you have to
happen, no.
worry about is like Valheim comes out, and then, if you think Deep North coming out is going to make Valheim super popular again,
I found
I
it.
don't know. I love it. I hope so. That would be so cool. But that's something, I mean, I felt that way about Ashlands, to be honest.
Look,
I really
we'll
thought
still have
Ashlands
our
was going to come
niche.
out. Yeah.
We'll still have our lovely bunch of people that love the game with us.
Yeah, for us, it's going to be fine. Like, I don't think it
And there's
really.
still new players coming in, like every day or a week or whatever. There's still new
Most
players like,
people
hey,
are
I
new
just bought the game.
players.
Cool. Let me educate you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's
need some help.
definitely real. So let me get some more of the questions here. So I've asked.
Really quick,
Go on.
I found the thing you talked about that cave. June 17th
Ah,
it came out. It's with Herver part 6.
part 6 was in June. Wow, I guess
Yep.
they did. They had some momentum with the first parts then.
Yeah, but then they had a little summer break, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I go.
Huh. Okay. So let's see. We asked Fenzigs, Emma's, Sage, and Swaggy. So now we have Hoospy, who has 5 questions. And one I told you about earlier. I'm definitely curious about this one. He says, "Why are you so resistant to mods that add content or change gameplay?"
Ah, multiple reasons. Multiple reasons. Um, okay, so what a lot of people want to do, I think, with the game is how to do this as fast as possible. How to basically it kind of seems like they don't want to play the game at all because they want to be done with it in no time, right? So a lot of quality of life mods, like boxes that can store 10,000 items. I like the grind. Let me build stuff, but in terms of adding horses to the game or backpacks or what have you. I said before that I like the graphics a lot. Mods like these often don't stick to the same design philosophy. The rest of the game is not really tuned usually to the use of those items. Those are a couple of reasons. Plus, it's not reached 1.0 yet. We're not in the final version of the game. I don't feel personally that I'm done with what the game offers right now. So it feels a little bit wrong to change it before it's even born. If
Yeah,
that
I
makes
mean, that makes
sense.
sense. It does, yeah. So it sounds
Also, I
like you're
don't
not
want
bored
to
of
add
Valheim.
stuff. Oh, I'm not bored. No, no.
Yeah, that's it.
Like I also don't want to
That's the
add
answer.
stuff that don't work after an update. I don't want to go back and be like, oh, this is it. You know?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of
I'm
sense.
protecting myself for disappointment, I guess, as well with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting because I've learned that basically I don't think about the game like a player. I think about it more like a developer. So, like when I look at mods, it's kind
Mhm.
of the opposite. Like I look at mods to learn what feels good and if it's worth it. So I like am very invested in trying lots of different things out because that's how I learn the most about game design. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I mean for me, I get the sentiment because to be honest, most mods are like half-assed passion projects that are like a novelty and not a gaming product that was
Yeah, that's
made
some
with game
yeah.
design. Makes
There's
sense.
something
So
people
like
want for the game, right?
it's just something someone made because they were having fun making it, but they didn't really like take all the time to figure out exactly how to put it into Valheim to make Valheim
Yep.
feel like Valheim still.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Agreed.
So I agree that most mods are that way. They're really finicky. They're like overdone, or the assets don't match with the game, or it adds guns, or something crazy. I will say though that certain mods,
Yeah.
and especially for me, expand world prefabs, that took Valheim from like a game, one of the games I loved, to a game I am so obsessed with, I want to develop something like it and learn as much as possible about. Without Expand World Prefabs, I don't consider Valheim a masterpiece. The reason that Expand World Prefabs is so
Mhm.
powerful is that it puts, okay, Valheim is like a building game. It has other things, but let's call it a building game.
Sure.
In normal, you can build a building. Maybe you could build a world with buildings in it, but you can't build the
Mhm.
progression. You can't build a custom quest. You can't build a scripted dungeon. You can't build a storyline. You can't build a campaign. You can't do any of this.
Sure.
With Expand World Prefabs, you can do all of it. And you don't need to add any
Mm.
assets, and it's all completely vanilla friendly. So
That is sick,
it's
actually.
fucking insane. Like, it's batshit insane. You can make entire custom progressions. You can make entire
Mhm.
custom systems. You can change the mechanics. You can change where the start temple is. You can change the Valheim experience fundamentally, and it's still compatible with crossplay, Mac, PlayStation once it releases, everything. And like, I don't know what
Mhm.
to do with this because I know this and I'm making a project about it, but I have kind of a problem because most Valheim players don't think this kind of thing is possible. So how do they get
Because yeah, it's
interested
not
in
shown to
something
them.
they perceive as impossible? You know what I mean? It has to be
Yeah,
shown.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Yep, yep. And in the end, it's still just a program, so it can be added to like basically whatever you want in whatever way you want,
Yeah.
which is very exciting, especially if you look at it from a programming perspective. I guess I'm not a programmer, but I
Well,
do
I'm
get
not. That's the
logic.
thing. I'm not a programmer either, and this is the thing about EWP.
Mhm.
It adds another layer in between the programming and the player. And that
Oh yeah,
layer
okay.
is really easy to work with and adjust. So that's why I was able to make things so quickly because like basically if Iron Gate was a really professional game design studio who started from the beginning knowing what they were doing, they would have made a
Yeah.
scripting system for themselves so that they can really quickly test things. The problem is Iron Gate doesn't use a scripting system. They do everything directly in like Unity development, and they're not professionals at it. So as a result, they have wasted a lot of money and time in the past by
Hmm.
developing something and then removing it. So now they're very hesitant
Yep.
to make a new feature because of how much they wasted before. So that's
Makes
why
sense.
like when you actually do like game design professionally, you need to make an environment where you can test things like literally you have an idea, 20 minutes later you got a script, you're ready for some play testers. Like that's the environment that produces really good, well developed mechanics. Unfortunately, that's just not how it is, you know. Iron Gate has a different situation. The one other thing, I
Yeah.
interviewed Yer once, and he told me
Yeah.
that from his perspective, if Iron Gate hired one full-time Unity developer who had 4 years of experience, that they could
Hmm.
rework all the networking in 6 months. So I don't know if that's true, but Yer
I
is a
I heard
very,
that.
very talented programmer. So
I heard
like
that.
he's the most talented programmer I am aware of in my own connections.
I mean,
So like if he
that
says
would be
that,
such a godsend.
I believe him. But I don't know if they're ever gonna do that, you know?
But you know why the game is the way it is. I think, right? How
Well,
it
no,
is.
you want to
Well,
elaborate? You wanted to talk about this earlier, so we can go into it now if you want.
yeah, like just a little bit. It's just I think it's fun because it's just something that got popular without intending to be popular. It's not made to be viral. It's just a game, I guess, he made because he wanted it. And it's, as far as I know, please correct me if I'm wrong, it's developed as a sort of a LAN game, right? So
Yeah.
data the game expects you to have like a large data pipe on all fronts, and oh, this goes way deeper than I thought, but it's not necessarily made for a viral to be a viral Steam game, the way it's set up right now, but it deserves to be. And if there's someone in the world that can do a rewrite of it that can make it that, dude, like I don't think Iron Gate themselves will do it. Uh, but please,
You know
please
what's
give
sad
us.
about that? Not
I want
only will Iron Gate not do that, but the players don't want it. This
the
fucked
players
with
don't
my
want it.
head, but
Oh,
Snazzy did
how?
a poll, and it was like, which of these four things would you want in
Hmm.
Valheim? And it was like horses, extended inventory, something else, and improved multiplayer networking. Guess which one got 11% out of tens of
That is an
thousands of
unfair
voters?
poll. I'm sorry.
I'm just telling you,
No,
guess
you're
which
right. I
one
saw the poll.
lost?
I saw the poll. I know it.
The
But I think
networking
that's just an
lost,
unfair
man.
thing.
How the fuck? I don't understand. But that showed me it's like I don't know how players really feel. And that's like I mean, it's kind of
So,
funny if you imagine
look.
it, right? Like us experienced people who play the game a lot notice the
Uh,
performance issues and we value it. The company doesn't value it and the players don't value it. Like I'm just telling you, it's
well,
like
the thing is, we didn't know we needed Valheim before it was a thing. But you can't go around. We've been waiting for how long now? Months and months and months. I've lost track of time. See, that's an indication. We are starved for content. Okay. So if you ask in a poll, would you like this nice content, this nice content, this nice content, or this really complicated internal game mechanic that you don't know about?
yeah.
Of course, you're
Fair
gonna
enough,
pick
fair enough.
content. Yeah,
So
that's an
you're
unfair.
saying that maybe it is more than 1 out of 10 average players who wants better.
Hell yeah! If they actually
I
knew what
see.
they were voting on, yes.
So before managing the server, I would have agreed with you, but now, uh, I mean, players think things that shock me. Like they shock me, or they
True.
like I'll tell them something, and they just don't listen to me and say it's something else. Or you read Reddit, read the Reddit
Yeah.
Valheim. It's like they say so many things that are just fundamentally wrong. Like it's like holy shit. And then people agree
It's
with
true
them
though.
and upvote it. And like the most upvoted comment is something that hasn't been true for 2 years. You know? Sorry, I'm
What?
laughing
What it
because
was?
I saw Crumb's question and he said, "Give them better networking and then take it away and ask the same question."
That's what I'm talking about. That's literally what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that makes
Ah,
sense.
man, it is like that because the Valheim handles networking and your local position within the game different from other games, like way different. There's pros
Certainly
and
different
cons
from
to
other
it.
multiplayer games.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was distracted. I see in the stream delay, I saw a lovely kitty.
Yeah, I have two kittens.
Aw, oh,
They're like
that's
two
cute.
months
It's
old, so they're super
2 months. Oh,
super playful.
oh. So that was a nice distraction. Where was I?
We were talking about the
No,
networking.
yeah, no. It's. I think these parts of games have been better thought through in other game projects that they become like a normal. And a Valheim player will just say, "Oh, the game is laggy. Oh, you must need a better computer or so." Well, it's
Yeah.
networking. You don't, and
And you
oftentimes you
get
don't
the
need a better
best
computer.
computer possible and it's still laggy.
Yeah, is it graphics lag? Is it network lag? Is there something else going on? There's so many variables, but yeah, a player, like I said earlier, they don't need to concern themselves with it because the developer needs to take care of that.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
And it's also one of the things that's hard to even factor because like
yeah.
I mean even the whole server thing, it's not in the scope of the development of Valheim. They don't develop for you to
No,
have a server. They made the option to have a server, but you want to know something fucked up? You know how long
sure.
that's been around?
What been around?
The dedicated server thing that Valheim has that you can do.
Yeah. How long?
That was available until Roku. Like
Really?
yes. So like it's not new.
Oh
It's
no.
like it's super old, super
Like the
old.
way the way the networking is done. You mean within?
No, I mean like literally the game Roko, you could set
Yeah.
up a server and have people play on that. And Roko is what turned into Feud, which then turned into Valheim. So I don't know for certain, but
I
it
need
looks
to. I need to
very
look it up.
much like the Valheim networking is adopted from Roko. And
And how do I spell that?
Tolroko is
Sorry.
Tolroko. And there's actually a whole blog. And this is another thing. I have a whole history video about when it's called like when Valheim was a space game or something like that. But
Oh, I know about
basically,
that. I know assets. I saw
yeah,
assets.
yeah, you've seen the assets, right? But basically, like that's the greatest mystery about Valheim to me is that Valheim basically started as one individual's passion project, and they worked on
Mm-hmm.
it for like 6 or 7 years, like a long fucking time before even the Valheim Alpha happened. This individual had already been working on it for ages, and then
Mm-hmm.
basically they have a blog. You can find it if you Google Tolroko Tumblr, you'll find his blog. He shows updates. He does little devlogs, and then he has a YouTube channel. He's showing things that he's updating on YouTube, and then it all ends. It all goes silent,
Mm-hmm.
and 1 year later, Valheim blows up. So like, and we never heard again from him. He never became active publicly again after that. So like, what the fuck happened? Like, I'm trying to imagine, like, imagine having a passion project. What circumstance makes it so that when you're making the passion project, you share
Mm-hmm.
updates to it, but then you vanish and the project becomes viral a year later? Like, how? What
Right.
happened? Like, it's such a
Oh
mystery.
man,
That's.
you just given me my next deep dive. Nice. Oh, this is okay. I knew there was some assets in the game that couldn't be logically explained within a Viking world, but I'm gonna go with this. This is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if you look at that blog, that'll give you
Mhm.
you can literally download Toroko and play it.
I know I'm on the
Like,
website. I'm on the
yeah, I
Tumblr.
it actually runs. I played it and like depending on where you spawn, the circumstance is totally different. So like you could spawn and there's a bunch of like missing assets and it looks all weird, or you could spawn in a
Mhm.
fully developed, well, Toroko developed area. It's like a fever dream, to be honest. It's super trippy. Like it looks like the kind of game if you're tripping on acid or something. It's all super colorful, super abstract. Everything's super
Sorry.
intense and
Yes.
kind of mends together. It's a really interesting project to check out, though. Definitely.
Did they keep the same like branch on the floor model in Valheim? I think they did.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna.
can find
Oh
assets in Toroko that are in Valheim,
yes,
like the cargo crates and the chests, and there's some other stuff as well.
and I
Like
think a
obviously the
first a little
flyer.
version of a Forsaken Stone. It's
Yeah,
also in there.
yeah, in
Yeah,
early Valheim, that was like a thing. Basically, you would go to a location and kill stuff there and then get
the
like a
circle.
chest.
Yeah,
That was like I don't know why they got rid of that actually, because it's kind of
there was a
cool.
circle and it had a little table in the middle. You could sacrifice something. You would start an instance of a couple of waves, and then you,
Yeah, and then you
when it's
could fight
done,
them.
plop on
Yeah.
the table came a
I think
reward.
it's
Yeah,
pretty cool. Like I don't know why like why was that idea scrapped? It seems like if there were some
uh,
locations that had more
yeah,
interaction, like what's wrong with that? It seems like a good thing.
true. Well, they switched it out for the raid system, obviously. Well, I think it's obvious, but
I
why not
see.
have it
Yeah.
in still with it? Why not both?
Yeah,
But
'cause
cool.
in my head they're separate things. The raid system is to get building in the base to not feel as boring. That's the attempt that they try and do,
Sure.
or the intention
Okay.
rather. So with the location,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not sure if that's why they got rid of it, to be honest. It probably was
Oh, I
like an
don't know, but it's
optimization thing or something. Who knows?
maybe it's a really old version where that was in. So
Yes, very old. Okay,
yeah.
so Huspy has a couple more questions. How are you on time, by the way? I didn't ask if you have time constraints. I totally
I
forgot.
got time. I'm gonna say that my bladder is running out of time a little bit,
Do you want to take?
but
You
I
can
still have
go.
some time.
Do you want to take a break for a couple minutes? We could do that now if you want. I got like three or four more
If we can do
questions,
that,
and
I
I can
would be
keep
thankful.
chatting. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
let's
All
do
right. Cool.
that. I'll
Let's do that.
also go to the bathroom, so I'll just get some water as well. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. You'll see us both show up on the screen.
All right. Cool. Let's run. Ugh. Yeah, I probably need this. I will need this. All right. See you later, chat. More coffee.
Hello, hello. I am back, and I'll look at this chat real quick here, and I can tell you guys a couple of the questions I'll ask Easy when he gets back. So basically, I got some questions from Hoospy. We already asked about the mods, but they have 4 other questions. Those other questions are: how long did you play solo before playing multiplayer? Do you tend to stay in one world for a long time, or do you restart a new world? Can you guesstimate how many different playthroughs or worlds you've played? And if you had to choose one characteristic to label your Valheim playstyle, what would it be and why? Fenzi, it's left? Left F? I see. Or wait, maybe you said something else and I misunderstood you. There's someone in my community, his name's Leftaf. So are you Leftaf? I wonder. Crumb says, oh yeah, he's asking about the Christmas video. Yeah, Crumbs does really cool, like, skits. They're really funny. I love Crumbs videos. I gotta say, Crumbs, you have, like, a very unique style. Like, I can just see a Crumbs video, and I know it's a Crumbs video. Except that one Valheim video they made. They made, like, a joke video, and I watched it, and I was like, did they get this from Crumbs? Like, it seems like his exact kind of humor. You know what videos I'm talking about? I don't remember. So let's see. Did I miss any comments or any questions earlier? Let's see. So Fenzi says, for me, I've tried heavy modded and take a little and oh, okay. So he said, for me, I've tried heavy modded and it takes a little bit away of what made Valheim fun. So now he does as few mods as possible. Yeah, that makes sense. So I can talk a little bit about mods. Why not? Can fill the time. And if any of you want to ask me any questions, you can do that right now before Easy gets back. Did I just switch to, what did I just do? But basically, yeah, I switched out of grid mode. Here we go. Where's grid mode? How do I do this? Boop. Boop. Grid mode? I'll figure it out someday. There we go. Haha. As you can tell, I'm kind of new to Discord. Well, I'm not new to Discord, but like, as far as it goes for the admin things, I'm new to those. But all right, mods. Something I'll address that came up earlier is this notion of using mods and not using mods, and mods messing up the game or not. So before I elaborate, just for some context for those of you listening, basically, when players first start playing Valheim, around 90 to 95% of them do not use mods. Once you've been playing Valheim for 1,000 hours, chances are you use mods. So there's this journey that people go on as they are going from not playing to playing with mods. So obviously some people just don't really trust the mods, and there's good reason for that. Like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with being hesitant to install mods, but at the same time, one needs to understand that just as there are mods that make Valheim feel like a bad game, there's also mods that are made and they make Valheim feel more like Valheim. Like, I know that's hard to imagine, but it does actually happen. And the Valheim scene, and he's back. Welcome.
Yeah. Hi.
I was just chatting to buy some time.
That's cool. If I can hook into what Sig said, I think you said something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm back," and instead of saying jokingly, "Hey, I'm front," he went with, "I'm left." The left side.
Yeah, I get it now. Yeah,
Hey.
I had a feeling for that. I had a feeling it was something like that after I realized. That's why I clarified who left Af is.
Gotcha.
So we are waiting for our peace song.
Peace song. Oh, okay. So people usually get a peace song. They call it peace song, but when I get back up here, I usually stop by the sink in the bathroom to drink some water, and I cannot not sing anything because I love to sing. That's what usually happens, but it didn't now. I tried to be a bit more professional. Damn it.
Well, they like it apparently.
Apparently so. All right, next time you get a peace song. Any
That's
requests?
funny. So Kim said they were talking about using mods, and basically they used a bunch of mods, but then feel like it didn't make the game better, so now they use less mods, but they still use mods. And then they said, I
Mhm.
need better computer skills to run mods on a group server. Oh, that's interesting you say that actually. Could you elaborate more on what you mean by that? Like what makes you feel like you need better computer skills to run the server? Like I'm not disagreeing. I think that makes sense, but I need to know more about why you feel that way. So then he said, or they said, yes, but after
Mhm.
heavily modded server play, I do want a few mods, plant everything and store stack something. Yeah, that one's great.
Right. Like I know for me at least, I had to do pretty much of a deep dive to get the modding working like I have it now on the server because we have multiple layers of security by mods.
Yeah,
Um,
anti-cheat.
there's also anti-cheat. There's server characters. There's a whitelist active, and there's a password. So it's sad that it's unnecessary, but it did result in one of the well, one of no the best server and coolest and coziest server we have so far with the coziest coolest people on it ever. So I think we did it right. But it definitely required a deep dive on how to set it up on the software side. I think that's what Kim means in computer skills, like how to actually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does require something. Luckily for me, I'm such a nerd that I love researching that kind of stuff. But it does require some time, and hey, you'll get there if you wanted to. And there's plenty of resources online in the discords, just on through Google, even if you wish, or YouTube, to help you get started with that. But it does require some research for it, and yep, it's worth it.
It also depends how you go about it, because like, say you're setting up a dedicated server like locally on your computer, that's the most complicated way to do it, but it's free. So, like, if
Yeah,
you're able to leave a computer running all day, then you can just do it that way. It's not that big of a deal.
I put it in my
The
closet.
dedicated servers are easier to, oh, sorry, like server hosts are easier to use because pretty much like you just have to pay for it. Like you pay for it, and then within like 5 minutes, your server's set up. You have an IP. You can just change the
Yep.
IP, put the world file on. Like boom, it doesn't take that long. You drag and drop the DLLs into the BepInEx folder. BepInEx already pre-configured. Hopefully, if you're using a server that allows that, because there are some Valheim server hosts that don't allow you to do that, which is
Well,
silly from my
yeah,
perspective. But
it's just a user thing because if you're using a paid server, they take care of all the heavy lifting. They do all the back end stuff, and they provide you usually with a nice front end, nicely designed interface where you can do everything you need to do. Versus running it yourself, the result will be the same, but in my opinion, at least, you have way more deeper access to all the server files and everything, every log and you name it,
yeah,
anything you could ever need to troubleshoot anything. But that does require some passion for it and a lot more time. So both
so it
options are good,
depends. It
really.
depends on the server host because like the good hosts give you all the same stuff that you get if you have the file locally. You can edit everything
That is true.
basically.
Yeah.
But a lot of the hosts don't let you do that. So they'll only give you like access to one of the directories on the
Mm-hmm.
server, but not like the actual main directory that has all the other files. Make sense? So like you only
Okay. Yeah.
get the the world local folder to put your world on, but nothing else. So you have to be a little bit careful when you do that.
Yeah.
But I don't. I won't go too much more into detail with
Yeah.
that.
Because they have to protect themselves from it's also a security thing. But if you asked me earlier, what is one of my dreams for the game or anything that's going to come out, I'm just thinking about this now. But decent admin tools, just
Yes, without
native
server dev
powerful
commands,
admin
you mean?
tools.
Yes, yes.
It's just something that only something you can do while you're not in the game itself. Just give
I
us
mean,
that level of
any kind
control.
of support for dedicated servers is. I mean, I harp on this point a lot, but like as it is right now, you have to use a mod to even use dev commands on a server. If you don't use mods, if you're fully vanilla, the only thing you can do as an admin is ban somebody or kick them off
Yep.
the server. That's it. You can't use
That's it.
Ghost, God, you can't use
Yep.
development, you can't build things. Like,
That's what I'm talking about.
it's crazy.
Without server dev commands. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the funny thing is, even if you play single player and you press escape and choose log out, it still says log out of server in single player. So what
Yeah.
does that tell you? Like, what was the intention of the devs there?
Yeah. This is what we were talking about. One thing contradicting another, right?
Yeah, what are you doing, man? Like, oh man, there's so many contradictions. Even just the building pieces alone.
Yeah.
We'll leave that can of worms closed, maybe.
So
Oh my
so
god.
let's move on to the other questions by Husby or Husebi. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So
USB, like USB.
USB, okay. That works.
Yeah,
So they ask, how long did you play solo in Valheim before playing multiplayer?
not long. Not long. Like I said, there were friends that trying to convince me to get the game for for the reason of playing with them. That's fair. But how long? I think the first world that I started up, I don't know what level I reached. I don't think I even got to swamps before I opened up that solo world as a multiplayer world. So the actual first solo playthrough that I've done in my now 3,700 hours uh, is the I streamed it immediately because the only solo playthrough I think I started 2 years ago, and I've been playing very slow. I've completed the entire game. That's included Ashlands with it, but I think that started now 2 years ago. Only
And
two
it's
years
funny,
ago.
if you're streaming, are you really playing solo? You know, it's an
Yeah.
interesting thought experiment.
Oh, well. Okay, I'm not allowing other players in the world.
Yeah, I wasn't
Everything
saying you're
there is
not. I
built
was
by me. Yeah,
just
yeah.
pointing out that yeah,
My
it's
things
interesting you
may be
say that
influenced by
also,
chat, yeah.
because I
Sure.
also don't like, so from a game development perspective, um well, one thing that's very clear in game design is that when there's another social element, people are way more immersed. So it's much easier to get somebody to play a multiplayer game for 100 hours than it is to get them to play a single player game for 100 hours. So the reason I bring up the streaming thing is because from my perspective, if you're streaming and you're playing a single player game, you're actually
Mhm.
playing multiplayer because you're
Basically.
engaging in your head with the social elements that it's just like the game itself, yeah, is a single player game, but you're essentially having a multiplayer experience. There aren't other players, but there's other people who you know are watching you who have
Hmm.
input on the game, and that makes it more
Yeah,
interesting. Like, you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, the reason I say solo because I'm the one fighting the battles. I need to progress. I'm the one controlling the character for progression. But yeah, no, definitely this stream chat definitely had input on everything. And that's why I streamed it, of course. So pure solo? No. Played pure
It's
solo
funny too.
maybe a couple hours.
I think it's the same for me, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
the reason I got into Valheim, I was playing a WoW server. And then the whole guild was playing on a Valheim server. So that was my beginning experience of Valheim
Oh
server.
wow.
And I loved it.
Cool.
And then they all quit. And I was like, oh, now I don't, no one else is playing. It's kind of sad. It's not as interesting anymore. So for me, like the Valheim experience relies on being on a world that other people can build stuff in and destroy stuff and cause problems. That's what makes me
Hmm.
love it so much. So like I've always preferred the server experience, not necessarily playing with another person, but
Hmm.
playing on a world that other people also play on. Always,
Yeah.
that's my preference. Like
And you
always,
can still do your
basically.
own thing, but the fun part is that it's not just for you because you are sharing it. People are able to visit your
Yeah,
part of
and
that world.
honestly, even if that doesn't happen, there's something psychologically about knowing there's other people out in the world doing things that just makes the world feel more alive, even if you do the
Yes.
exact same thing in single
Yes.
player. Like I don't know how to put my finger on
No, I
that,
know
but
what you mean. It's really hard to explain, but there is a certain charm to it and a certain allure. Like, yeah, that has my preference.
yeah, it's like a mystery.
It's like, okay, so maybe it's not about other people visiting you, but you can walk through the world and find other POIs built by people.
Yeah.
It does feel more alive and active, and the world is in fact changing around me. You know?
Yeah, definitely. And that's
Yeah.
the moment I noticed that when I was playing Valheim was I logged out, went to sleep, and logged back in, and
Yep.
stuff had changed. There was like, an extra extension to the house. And
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I thought that was so cool. Like that while I was gone, I came back into the world and it was different already. Like that was so
Uh huh.
awesome. It was like a really exciting experience. And so that's something I've tried to replicate ever since then to make it so other people
Yeah.
can experience that a lot. But sometimes it's challenging. People
It's
fight.
awesome.
Yeah,
'Cause we have that to a certain degree on the well, not a certain degree, like an extreme degree maybe, because there's a couple of people with one person in the center calling you out, Azora, again, who's actually creating lore within the server and just in secret going off somewhere, building a whole bunch of stuff for like a storyline
for someone to
that
find.
I think I told you before. We just concluded that. Well, concluded. We reached a massive milestone in it. What day is it today? We did that Friday. Yeah. So yeah, like I had no idea what was being worked on, and suddenly I come into a part of the world, and there's this huge like arena with this whole huge stage that stuff's gonna play out on, and it's so good, so great to see. So amazing. Like I was playing on the server. I did my thing. I had no idea this was going on, and suddenly it's there.
Yeah, and I think that's something that as like a server manager or also as a streamer, that's something that basically a way you entertain other people. Um, when you manage a Valheim server, you give people a chance to build experiences that other people then get like interact with. And that's
Hmm.
something certain kinds of people really love to do in Valheim. And so if you can
Oh yeah.
find, a couple of those people and they're in your world, then they like benefit other players and they also have a lot of fun. It's like
Hmm.
it's really cool.
That is just that's peak gameplay for me.
All right,
It's,
so
it's great.
let's move on to USB's next question. Do you tend to stay in one world for a long time, or do you restart in new worlds?
Oh. I bite into stuff. I feel dedicated to a world pretty quickly. That means yeah, I can't for my own playing. I will stay in a world for as long as possible, I guess, to build stuff up, to you know create my life there. I think that's what he means. Instead of just randomly joining other people in their worlds. For myself, in the terms of creating worlds, I'll stick with it until it either becomes boring or something more engaging comes along. Like I've easily could have gone ahead on stream with my solo world, but it was time for a new community server, so that's where I'm at 100% of the time right now.
Ah,
Right?
just a whole other thing I want to talk to you about. But
Oh,
before
okay.
then, so I think maybe I could be misunderstanding this question, but I'll ask it from another angle.
Sure.
Um, how do you feel about like, okay, let's say you're gonna play some Valheim.
Hmm.
What factors determine if you play on a world you already made or you restart and make a new world from scratch?
What factors determine? Oh, okay, okay. So when 1.0 drops, I want to make a new world because fresh everything, fresh world, new world generation, fresh map, everything's supposed to be is the way it's supposed to be. So that would be a massive trigger point for me to start a new world. Um, Now, I think we will also have the community server by the time 1.0 drops, depending on when Iron Gate, you know, because we've been keeping clear of certain biomes meaning Deep North right now. And when 1.0 drops, we're definitely going to go into it. But there will also be a separate playthrough because they're going to change more than just one biome, right? The reason to stick with the map on the server when 1.0 drops is just everything that people build is right there. There's a lot of history. We can adventure it together. That would be there's pros and cons to both. It's hard to explain. Ideally, I'd want to restart the world on 1.0 like immediately, like maybe even the server. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to throw away people's work and what they've done, right? So it really depends. Like if Iron Gate's going to release on PlayStation first and they work a lot more on 1.0, like a couple months into the year, that's actually pretty cool. That means that the server playthrough will be sort of concluded. People will have fallen off, maybe. I don't know. And we can just refresh it, restart when 1.0 drops, and go in fresh altogether and experience the new things. That's my ideal situation. So, yeah, no, I tend to stick with Worlds just for long.
Oh,
But
that's
when
quite
there's an
interesting.
absolute need to, to refresh, to start new, like the 1.0, yeah,
So out of
I think that's
curiosity, on on the community server you've talked about, how do you manage, is there anything, is it like vanilla regarding respawning dungeons and vegetation and metals? Like, how is that handled?
yeah, it's actually all vanilla. We have the drop rate up to 1.5. I'm even thinking putting it to 2.0, but the drop rate is somewhat higher. The only mods that people really need are the security mods. They can play very vanilla after that, but there
Yeah.
is an allowed list of mods they can additionally put in their client.
Ah, but so
But
basically in the world itself, you still have, you're not using upgrade world or something to
yeah,
reset the dungeons or anything. Okay, that's
it
so,
is.
and having a
It
persistent
is in the
world,
back of my
that's really
mind.
interesting.
That
Yeah.
is in the back of my mind. Is if it becomes a problem, because when you run something like this, in my experience, you wing it all the time, and you adapt constantly. Like, let's say we had our player group and they were progressing together with me on stream and on even off stream, and let's say we would have had a whole how do I say that, an influx of new players constantly, right? If that was the case, we would have used something like upgrade worlds to reset these dungeons because it was simply not enough, especially ashlands. In a little bit, it's very a lot of finite objects you can get. We would need that, so it's in the back of my mind should I need it, but I'm not
Yeah, you just
currently.
haven't really had to yet. That makes sense.
Yeah, like we have rules in place to like have every player think about the other player, like don't mind too much, don't stockpile things, grab what you need, and if the resource is just gone because you mind just what you need, then I'll replenish it, right? But this way we also create a little awareness of, hey, you're not the only one on the server, and
Yeah.
everybody thinks about everybody else, and I love that.
Yeah, and if you have a close knit server, then you don't really have to worry too much. Like I've always run
Yeah,
public servers, so like in a public
yeah, that's
server,
different. Yeah.
yeah, you get players who like they're trolls and they're purposefully trying to make problems
Mm-hmm.
for other people and like all those things. And
Yep.
it's funny how in normal Valheim it's a problem really. But if you have EWP,
Yeah.
every time a troll does something, you just make it impossible. And then they get bored. Like it's so flexible. It's
Perfect.
awesome. I'm not gonna babble too much about that though. I want to move on to
No, no.
so I want to finish up USB's questions, and then I want to talk to you a bit about Valcon and Hype Week. So
Hell
I
yeah.
won't reveal too much, but anybody who's been listening this far in the stream can probably benefit a bit. So I'll tell them more about the upcoming stream and kind of what to expect, and then also ask you some things. But
Yeah.
first, let's see. Okay, so we asked. Okay, two more questions from USB. First, Can you guesstimate how many different playthroughs or worlds you've done in Valheim?
I can guess how many playthroughs. That's yeah, that well is a little bit tainted because I've often had one or two sessions in a brand new world with someone else and then abandoned it completely. Does that count?
I don't know.
Jeez, I no, I wouldn't call that a playthrough. I would just call that a session or two. You know, how many playthroughs? I think at least about 7-ish, maybe. I think it's really hard to guesstimate that, but between 5 and 7, I think something like that. Like serious worlds that you stuck with, and
Do you want to share a bit about
you know,
what made some of them different? You don't have to give every detail, but
well, not no, what this, what made them different, and the players on it, the lessons I learned from previous worlds. Most of these worlds have been servers, mind you. So there's lessons you learn to manage all that. I think that's the biggest difference. That and when it's when the game updates are in the mix, right? So those things would make those playthroughs
yeah,
different.
that does make it different. Yeah, makes
Yeah, I
sense.
think that's the biggest difference as well.
Okay, so their next question is if you had to choose one characteristic to label your Valheim playstyle, what would it be and why? Things like builder, explorer, farmer, fighter.
I don't subscribe to any just one. No, I like to grind in the game. I like to do a bit of everything. It's like a reflection of the life I could
Generalist.
have. I guess.
Yeah.
But why do a lot of people play games to escape real life, or the life in the game as a reflection of what you would do in real life if you had the chance, if there weren't that many hurdles? You know,
Yeah, I
that's how
mean,
a lot of
people
people
play
play
games
games,
for
and that's
loads
how,
of reasons, right?
yeah, that's a big reason for me to play games. And games like Valheim let me live out a life that I don't have, a more peaceful life, basically. I think so. I'm happy walking through a forest with some music on, or just with the game sounds, picking dandelions. I'd be happy doing that. I'm happy killing boss after boss as well, and getting into just diving headfirst into fueling villages, and being the combat master, or whatever you want to call that, like the
It's like
fighter.
the coffee versus tea argument. Like, why does one have to be better? Can't you just enjoy coffee and tea?
Can't you just enjoy both? Exactly.
Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
it's it's very much a mood thing, because on stream I tend to want to do the more action packed, the more exciting things, if that makes sense. And then after stream, I'll play more Valheim,
Hmm.
because why wouldn't I? And I go farming, and maybe I'll do a build project that I usually don't talk much during. You know, that's what I do off stream. So it's very much a mood thing. But I think I'm in it for everything, like just different times, different moods.
Same for me, man. It's like depending on
Yeah,
how you are, what you've been doing, if you've been doing a lot of other things, like sometimes you want to just build it chill, sometimes you want to fight, sometimes you want to farm, sometimes you want to build minimally, sometimes you want to build something
oh yeah,
extravagant. Like really depends
absolutely.
on what's going on. I I
Yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
I think in general people struggle a bit with building in the beginning because they're more likely to feel like, oh, I can't build, I'm not a good builder. There's this like feeling of like I'm an explorer, I'm this, I'm not that. I've noticed that with some people at least. I
Sure.
don't know if that's an experience
Yeah.
many people have had, but
There's definitely people also in the community that say, like, you, I'm a builder first and the rest second. There's
mhm.
one little person in the community, the stay-at-home Viking cat. This, you're just a house Viking, and you say that, and that's great. You're just there to farm a bit, to cook a bit. You take care.
We
That's
had a
nice.
couple of those, and now they adventure and kill things, and like they lost. The title used to be Squishy Builder. Someone who just stays in the base and doesn't do combat, and like other people give them stuff from the Ashlands and that kind of thing, right? So we call them
Yeah.
Squishy Builders. But then one of our most famous Squishy Builders, Teensy, started exploring, going to different biomes, going to the Mistlands, dying in the Ashlands. I'm like,
Whoa.
you can't be a squishy builder dying in the Ashlands. No, 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 no. You're
What
a
are you
normal
doing?
player now.
You're crossing classes. That's not
Yes,
allowed.
exactly. But no,
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Teens is awesome.
Of course,
She's
of course.
definitely a really supportive member of the community for sure. So I want to ask you a bit about Valcon. But before I say
Yes.
anything, can you describe what do you think? What's happening? Because you're one with a perspective that's closer to, because I've been like in these meetings and we're organizing shit and doing all this. So before I
Mhm.
say what's happening, I want to know what you think is happening.
What I think, well, um, of course, the last edition of the event, which was also the first, I was there as a host. Very lucky to do that, by the way. I loved it, and I didn't see much of the actual building of the event, if that makes sense. How you call it, like the meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I'm a bit more involved with that. I try to be at least. I'm allowed to. That's cool. Um, so what was your question again? Actually,
It's more so I'm curious like what's happening for
my
Valcon
perspective.
this year?
Oh, what I think will be happening.
Yeah. Cuz okay, so you
Okay.
can't I don't remember what you know. So you can't say when it's
Ooh,
actually happening, but that's
I
it. You
can't.
can say anything else.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I know that the setup will be a bit different, like how they want to do it, how the streams will happen. Uh, I guess the question is not really clear in that
Yeah,
sense.
no,
Like,
that makes sense.
what do
I'm
you
kind
want
of
me to?
picking your brain to see like
Yeah.
cuz what I need to better understand is that like last year basically we had this big issue where we didn't reach normal Valheim players and we basically made a thing that reached the
Mm-hmm.
communities of the content creators who participated but not
Mm-hmm.
the normal Valheim players. A lot of them didn't know about it. So
Right.
this
True.
year we're learning from those lessons, right? And so
Yeah.
basically I was just picking your brain a little bit to see what you said. So don't worry about it. It's fine.
No.
But
Okay. Pretty cool.
basically
I agree with that, by
in
the way.
in a week or
Just to
so,
expand a lot more.
yeah. Well, we'll be doing that. We'll get a chance to. But there's a live stream in a week or so, and it is the announcement of Hype Week for Valcon. So those of you who are here right now, I'll tell you what this is, but you can watch the live stream or learn about it. Basically, we're applying the lessons we learned from last year and trying to make something that is more for the players. So there will still be a live stream over the weekend that is like the one from last year, except instead of 24 hours, it's going to be over a weekend split into 3 days. Okay, so that's still happening. Valcon live stream is still going to be a thing. However, instead of just having a live stream where content creators participate, we're going to do something called Hype Week. So for the 7 days before the live stream, we're going to feature some of the coolest, like most intense Valheim servers and projects, and also some normal ones for people to play on. The idea is like to find all sorts of different Valheim projects in the community and then just give access to people. So if you're playing Valheim, you want to have a vanilla experience, we got a server we could show you. If you want to have a modded experience, you can go over here. If you want to try Dakar's Heimdiver project, you can go to his server. The thing is, we're not actually operating them because then it would be temporary about the event. Instead, what we're trying to
Mm-hmm.
do is get the event to sort of be a hub for all the different Valheim communities so that then the players come for the event, but then they end up getting involved with the community and the communities outlast the events. Make sense? So the event
Okay.
ends and they still have someone to play with. That's the idea. So it's basically like, and this is the thing I'm in charge of.
TwitchCon for Valcon for Valheim.
Yeah, like Valcon itself
Big
is
meet and greet.
like that. Yeah, exactly. But this Hype Week thing is specifically for players and trying to network and help people find Valheim servers to play on. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. So we've already got like 11 different communities and servers lined up. There's Dakar's Heim Divers, a bunch of adventure maps that are like mind blowing, really cool stuff. And there's a Lord of the Rings map. There's all sorts of stuff. But what I wanted to ask
Hmm.
you, basically, what we need more of is people who want to have a server. It doesn't have to be your main community server, but
Hmm.
we're looking for people who will have a more vanilla server available during Hype Week. So you don't have to tell me if you want to do this now or not. And also, if you're listening and you know somebody who you think might be interested, like here's what we're looking for. We want to be able to tell players, here's the login information, here's the experience you can expect. There you go. So, like, you're still in control of everything. It's still your server, your community, and everything like that. That's what we're looking for. We got loads of adventure maps, loads of very customized scripted projects. One of like my friends is doing a branch of Enigma that he's been customizing. I'm not doing anything myself because I'm helping organize everything and that kind of thing. But there's loads of customized stuff. What we're actually short on is the more normal Valheim experiences. So if any of you want to contribute, those are easy. If you want to, you don't have to have your main server up. We can give you guys a server. So all we really
Hmm.
need from people is like we need either a community to commit to playing on a like a vanilla server for that week. You don't have to be on it all the time, but it needs to be like, like people can join and interact with whoever the host is if they join at the right time when the host is playing. That's the idea behind
Right.
it. So, are there any questions you have about that? Because I need to practice articulating this, and I'm going to be doing a whole live stream about it next week. So, this is my chance to practice a little bit.
Right. Um, I love the idea first off because yeah, Valcon in that sense acts like a hub world to connect more players to not the event, just not just the event, just the game, to get the word out to as many people. If you bought the game last week or 5 years ago,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
5 years
exactly.
ago, 4 years ago. But yeah, no, yeah, get as many people just involved and see, let them see what's possible. You'd have lists of modded lists, vanilla lists, different types of servers and everything they can do on the servers, and just be part of it. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter for how long or with whom. There's many options, and we'd love you to get involved. And I thought there was also a thing that if there's like special things going on these servers, the hosts could hop on or something, right? And just show it off during one of the streams later, like
Yeah.
after Hype Week.
Yeah, so that's basically I'm focusing entirely on Hype Week. I'm just whatever happens with the live
Yeah.
streams, I don't really know about. I'll participate in a little bit, but I'm just focused on organizing Hype Week and making sure that I am available for the hosts and the people interested. Because for me, it's sort of like I have other interests. It's not just for Valcon. I view the Valheim
Hmm.
community as quite split and segregated. Um, I've seen that a lot of server hosts are scared of communicating with other server hosts or server managers because there's this perception that they're going to steal their players. I think that that holds everyone back, and really we should all work together and share all of our players, and that's our future. That's how we can really rise the Valheim community up and show people all the
Yep.
things that are possible. Because like
Hmm.
ultimately, if you're providing an experience in Valheim and you're doing the best and having fun, nobody can do what you're doing. It's going to be different playing with you versus with other people. And there's some people who will prefer to play with you and others who will prefer to play with someone
Yeah.
else. So there's nothing wrong with that, right? But the
Right.
idea is like, I want to encourage all these different server managers to interact with each other because we can learn from each other a lot. And that's one of the things, like, one
Hmm.
of the reasons I learned so quickly about Valheim is because I'm very willing to just share everything I have. And that makes other people trust me and give things to me because I openly shared everything with them first.
And not because you lock everything down.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that phrase, give them the tools. No, I already
Tools and
forgot the
rules.
phrase. God damn it. Yeah, tools, not rules. Okay. But what
Yep.
I was getting at is that I still want to pick your brain more about it. So, how do you think I can make this process of like what the hosts are and like, what do you think we can do to make this better? Because the big problem is
Hmm.
reaching the Valheim player base. Because, like, obviously, if we had some famous streamer or somebody who had a big audience, like Snazzy, for example,
Yeah. Yeah, that
you
would
know, they
reach a
could do
bunch of more
something, but
people.
they're not interested. So, like, I don't know,
How could you
how do
do
we
that?
activate the players without having some big streamer we can just get to talk about it? You know what I mean? That's the problem.
Ah, recognition is the only thing that comes into my mind. Like brand recognition. It sounds mega boring if I say it like that, but just talk about it a whole lot. I think. Make sure people have heard it at least once. Because I know there was one person that actually, while I was acting as a host last event, was DMing me like, "You got to get me into this. I didn't know anything about it," and
Yeah.
that's what we want to not have, right?
Well, yeah,
Not
it's
the
like it's
messaging. Please
good,
message, but
but it
we
means
want you
that
to
we
know
didn't
about it, so
reach
you don't need
people.
to
Yeah,
message.
exactly.
Yeah,
And that's the thing that I was in that situation a bunch already, and that's why I know this year. It's like last year we didn't really do much for
yeah,
the players. Like we tried to make a world for them and these things, but it ended up being it's like we put the work on the staff people who were already overworked. So
yeah,
like, and also I wasn't part of the Valcon official team last year, but I'm one of the staff people this year. So just to be clear about that.
yeah. Well, the same
Um,
boat in that case.
yeah, I don't know anything about the planning really, but
No. So
the
so
thing I was trying to elaborate on is, I guess all I can do really is figure out how to clearly explain what's happening because I think you're right. Like
yeah,
ultimately, like until we get some kind of official endorsement from Iron Gate themselves or some big streamer or something, like this is what's going to happen. You know, the event's going to happen. The people who join now, I think
hmm,
this year they'll have a much better experience because Hype Week is designed to provide a good experience and it doesn't hinge on the staff anymore. It hinges on the Valheim
yeah,
communities who are already
yeah,
passionate and doing everything already. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Because last year we had these awesome worlds where people built a whole lot of awesome things in, and anyone watching the live stream back then, and even after the live stream for the longest time, maybe they're still up even. They
yeah,
could
they're
just
still up.
walk through it and look at all the amazing things that have been built. But it's in that case, it was more of a show and tell. Like this creator made this
Exactly,
one,
not a
this
play. Like
builder
you
made
should be
this
able
one.
to come and play Valheim
You
because
should be
it's
able
the
to do
Valheim event.
Legoland. They let you build your own stuff in the theme park. That's what this needs to be as well.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
we can have awesome builds and the scripted worlds, what you're talking about. That was awesome. But we should have a very big emphasis on you are part of this. And you can here's a list of servers. You go in and you will have a connection to the event and to the game and to the community.
So
I think
I'll
that's
give you
really
guys a
important.
bit of a teaser. I can show you now which worlds are involved so far. So basically, there's going to be a live stream next week. I think it's in like a week. I don't remember exactly when it is. It's like 7 or 8 days, something like that. And during this live stream, it'll be me with almost all of the other participants. And we're going to then invite people to this Discord where they'll be able to chat in this hype world or hype week chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll just cover the current participants for Hype Week. We have Dakar and his Heimdivers project. We have a Fenrir server, which is a fork of Enigma by Left Af. We have the Battle for Valhalla, or by the Arena World team. That's Ray, Hilly, and Papa Doc. And then we have Forteca's World by the Black Viking community. And we have Non Applicables Adventure Map, Titan Age 2, The Legends Rift. And we have a project by Zeal, who's really active in the EWP community. We have Olvar's Adventure Map. We have Verdant's Ascent, which is like an adventure map RPG modded experience built within Valheim. Then we have The New World, which is a Middle Earth Valheim adventure map. It's like a recreation of Middle Earth, has quests, that kind of thing. Then we have Emma the Potatoes World. So she's doing a more vanilla thing, and we'll have like a treasure hunt and some other things going on.
Right.
And whoever else is going to participate that I haven't reached out to yet. But that's the idea. So we got a bunch of a bunch of people. It's just a matter of more of like, okay, how do I put it? Last year, I wasn't necessarily confident that a player could have a really good experience because it relied on really busy people and one or a handful of servers that were needed to be played on in a certain way. This
Yeah.
year, I know damn certain it's going to be like for a player who doesn't know that these other Valheim adventures and special things exist, it's going to be totally mind blowing for them because they're going to be made aware of the fact that Dakar and 9byte, their world is just one of many adventure maps that people don't know about. And Dakar
Mhm.
and 9byte's world is really good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to diss on it at all. I'm just saying that people think that's the only adventure map for Valheim, but that's not true. There are actually at this point, I know of 3 or 4 adventure maps with multiple years of effort put into them already. So it's going to be really cool seeing what people play. The thing I'm not certain about is like, I don't know how to reach people beforehand so they know about this because like I can reach most of the server managers in the Valheim scene, but not the
Mhm.
players. I don't know how to reach the players. So like I don't what do you think?
Boy, that is the $1 million question, isn't it? Uh, yes. Average Joe who likes the game. How do we get in contact? Well, be as annoying as possible on the socials, I guess. With the widest reach we can possibly have, I think, and it's real. You can never reach everybody. You got to know that too, but you can make a valiant effort. I'm not very good at social media myself, but
I feel like there's some kind of I don't know like social engineering trick we could use. Like I
yeah.
don't know
What is
like
it?
we host a competition or something. You'd host something that basically, without
Yeah.
realizing it, that people end up talking about Valcon. You know what I mean? I don't really know though.
Right.
To be honest, I'm like too busy already, so I can't really do more than what I'm already planning on doing, which is doing this live
Mhm.
stream. And like my mentality is like this live stream's gonna happen, and then people are gonna start asking about Hype Week because right now people don't know about it. So this is gonna be like one of the announcements for the Valcon itself, right? Because it'll
Right.
Hype Week itself will help people learn about Valcon itself. Makes sense?
Offer
Because
free
the Hype
candy then.
Week, like yeah, we could get them. You got the candy. Are you gonna supply this candy? Because nothing's free. I
Uh,
can't give him any free candy. I
oh,
gotta
Crumbs is
buy
gonna
that.
supply, right?
Yeah, it's Crumbs is gonna supply the candy and the shipping. I'll just give you the clients. But what I was getting
Yes.
at was basically like we'll have this live stream, and then people are gonna know about this because of the live stream. And I have a feeling that like okay, last year we could tell people, okay, there's gonna be this cool event that you can watch, but what can you do about it now? Learn a little bit, I guess. Not much, right? Whereas with Hype Week, you can play in these communities now most of the time. Like Dakar's Heimdivers project is available. You can learn about it, and if you're really passionate and you ask him for login information, he might give it to you. That's how Stone Prophet plays. That's how I play. If you really,
Hmm.
express interest, you can get in. And so, like, what
Hmm.
I've already noticed is that this is already more interesting to people to learn about because you can learn about Hype Week and it's not like you need to wait for Hype Week to play on the projects. Most of the projects are available right now and you can learn about them. You see what I'm getting at? And I can tell how that activates people better. They respond better to it because it's like, oh, there's more. This is more interesting than just something I can watch in the future. You know what I mean?
I think just to get it to be known by people is just. I think the barrier of entry needs to be as low as possible, as easy to digest as possible. Don't I wouldn't for instance, tweet out a big list of servers as an image or whatever. When hey, this is all available. Like, make it the, the easier digestible, the better, right?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, all of our attention spans on the internet are basically non-existent most of the time, especially if it's about something we have no knowledge about. So you need to find a
Yeah,
little
the
crack in the
unknown.
door
The
to shine
unknown
light through, and people are
unknown.
like, ooh,
Ugh.
yeah, like maybe,
Well, I think it'll be all right. I just kind of accepted like I'm not in a position where I can increase awareness that much, but what I can do is
no,
activate other communities. So my idea, and that's why I'm actually doing the Hype Week thing, is because
hmm
it does a lot of birds with one stone, if that makes sense. Because on one
yeah,
hand, I need to meet with all the Hype Week people to up their camaraderie, to get them to stop viewing each other as competitors. I need to show them how to behave by
hmm
meeting with them in person all together and, getting us used to each
yeah,
other, increase the chance that we work together on things, ask people, share our progress. I need to activate them, right?
yeah. It's
That's
not
one
an
thing that's
individual
happening.
thing. Yeah,
Exactly. But also, people need to know about Valcon that's happening this year or in 2026, and they need to know about Hype Week. So, by live streaming a meeting with everybody introducing themselves, not only do we up the camaraderie of all the participants, but we
hmm
also then unveil Hype Week to everyone who's watching, and hopefully the people who participate have involved their communities, so their communities are watching. So this is my plan. I don't have a big enough audience, but I can organize people pretty well. So if I organize
yeah.
enough other people, maybe we can make a big of a splash that some people will tell people about Valcon. I don't know how else to do it. Like I'm doing my best, I
I
swear.
I'm in your boat. I know. Same. We need to have one big ball of information and hype, and that we feed that ball to each and every one that has a server. And same, the ball will continue to roll from us server owners, the players, and hopefully from players word of mouth to other players who have no idea yet. That would be the best. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe like I could do some kind of like light advertising campaign. I was thinking about that because I think there's a little bit of funding. Maybe there's like a $200 or something. So it's possible that
hmm
maybe some Google AdSense ads placed on YouTube in the right places, only on Valheim channels, might be good enough to help. I used to do that kind of
stuff like
thing,
that. Yeah.
but that's something I can figure out later. I don't want to distract too much from your
No,
thing.
but I think this is the way to get it to be known more broader. Yeah.
Yeah, something realistic,
Plus,
right?
plastered a logo everywhere. I think there's a logo for 26 now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I need
Yeah.
to get one of
So
the
we
shirts. You see, you're doing better than I am. You got the shirt, and I just have an old sweaty
already
red
got it.
shirt. Yeah.
But this is last year's logo, but it's basically the same, just a different
Yeah, yeah, it's the same.
year on it. But
So
what I'm saying is, we can already use that, as far as I know. So
they updated all the logos as well, so
yeah.
we can still use the new ones. So Fenzi's had one more question about Valcon. So Valcon or Fenzi says, where in the world will Valcon happen? So
In
Valcon
your
is an
living room.
online convention. So basically, it's everywhere. Yeah, we do want
All
to
right.
do
Look.
an in-person one in the future, but for now, that's not an
Yeah.
option.
The best would be like in my mind, pure fantasy. This is not actual speculation on the future of the event, but imagine in the country of origin was Sweden, I think, right? In a big Viking hall, like might be multiple, maybe a village. Who knows? One big fan-led, or maybe even official event around Valheim. Everybody loves the same thing. We all have a meet, we laugh, we slaughter a goat, we have fun. We probably won't do that, but um,
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do
that's the
that.
goal. But for now, we can do it online so that it's happening exactly where you want it to happen, where you have it, your phone or PC. And yeah,
Yeah, and
That's
this
where
year
it'll
it'll be
happen.
easier. It'll be easier for people to participate in because last year it was one like really intense 24-hour long live stream, but ultimately it had like high points and low points, right? So really there was only one point, and if you missed it, like the stream's still going on. It's not necessarily easy to know where exactly to go back in the stream to get the thing you're looking for. Like it's possible, but it's not necessarily intuitive to a lot of people. Whereas this year, it's set up differently. So instead of 24 hours, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and there's a period of time we're
Hmm.
streaming, and then it stops. So then people
Like
have
80% of
time
the time, I think.
to catch up to that if they want before the next chunk. Make sense?
Yeah, and get some sleep
Yeah,
in
yeah,
between.
exactly.
Just Jesus. Huh?
And so as Captain Crumb says, word of mouth is probably your best option. Just talking
Yeah,
about it, getting others to talk about it, and yeah. So all of you need
100%.
to talk about Valcon. Yeah, there you
Talk about
go.
it, guys. Come on, we're trying here.
That's my
But
my
that would be the
conclusion
best
is
thing.
that you all need to talk more about it.
Wear a shirt.
Yeah, I gotta get my shirt. I'll
Doing
figure
my
that out.
part. Yeah, everybody will. Everybody needs to get a shirt or a sticker or just print out the logo and then just plaster it on yourself. But yeah, with all jokes aside, Crumbs, you're absolutely right. Word of mouth is not only, I think, one of the most effective ways, but if you hear something from someone and that person is excited about it, that's way more genuine than any ad you can see on the internet ever. So that would be the ideal way of spreading in my
Yeah,
book.
definitely.
I
So
definitely
with
drove people insane with it. This first event, I definitely did. I know for a fact.
that it worked out though. So with that, I've covered all the questions that I have in this list. So now, if there's anything anyone wants to ask, we have a little bit of time before it ends. I'll give you some time before it ends, rather. So you guys can ask in the chat. And also, Easy, is there anything you want to talk about, or you want to bring up, or you want to tell anybody? Now's a chance to do
Is
so.
there anything I want to talk about? In what sense? Like anything?
Yeah, whatever feels right. What's on the tip of your
Yeah.
tongue?
Uh, I don't know. Nothing really. No, I didn't prepare anything. I just had I knew there were questions for me. So no, but I'd like to keep an open conversation always everywhere. So if there ever is anything, a question specifically to me with the game in mind, you can always ask on Discord or in a stream. Or if you're a new player and you're unsure about things, you can always just ask. There's no such thing as a dumb question, unless you really try to have it be a dumb question. But then we just laugh. It's always. And I guess that's also the thing that I love most, just helping people out, putting some
Yeah,
information out
that's
there.
awesome. So do you want
Yeah.
to talk to people a bit then about like let's say someone's watching and they were from my community or someone else and they didn't know about you and now they want to follow you or watch a stream. What do they do?
What did it do? Well, you can press the follow button on every day of the week, but I will only be live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Is that the kind of direction you're asking the question in?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, I know.
yeah, all right.
Yeah,
Well,
imagine
it's
someone
on.
here wants
Yeah,
to start following you and learn about you. Where do they go? What do they do?
all right. I would always invite to the Discord because there's a plethora of information. There's my literal link tree thingy. Main is Twitch. Together with YouTube, I'm trying to get that started up. It's a grind. We do it for fun, but we still do it. Um, there, Twitch, YouTube, Discord,
Okay, so I'll
mostly.
put,
Yeah,
if you're watching this VOD on YouTube, you can just look in the description of this video, and then you can get the link to join his Discord and the link to his Twitch.
and you'll be welcome to open arms.
Awesome, man. You got a great attitude. Your community is really cool as well. So thanks for doing this. This is definitely a blast. And I'll
Thank you
just
for having
end
me.
with
Great.
Fenzi said, "When can I sign up for the next ValCon?" So the next ValCon hasn't been officially announced yet. I'm being a little early here by telling you guys, but I know
Mhm.
no one's actually here. There's no titles about ValCon, so it's
No.
you're in the know. But in, I'd say, probably a week or two, we'll have more information for you. And when I do that Hype Week announcement live stream, I will definitely give a Discord invite to the Valcon server. So people will be able to
Yeah.
look at the servers that are going to be available in Hype Week, and they'll be able to join their Discords. Because, like I said, the advantage of these Hype Week servers, some of them are just for the event, but not all of them. Most of them are passion projects that are currently being worked on, like right now, regardless
Mhm.
of Valcon. We're just finding people who are already passionate about Valheim and giving them some focus. We're not managing them or taking their stuff or anything like that. You know what I mean? So they're
Yeah.
available. You can come to this server to learn about these other places and then join their Discord servers. It's
And
exactly as Easy said. It's supposed to be a hub.
at least for now, because I still have hope for an in real life event at some point. But at least for now, I don't think there's a sign up to experience it. You
Yeah,
can
I
just
mean,
watch
you
the
like you buy a free ticket through Eventbrite.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah.
but like, yeah, and so that's a just I actually that's a great point. I'm glad you brought this up. Last year we had it that way, and like you had to get into the server, and that might be a bit complicated if the servers were full or if they crashed or whatever. That's
Mhm.
why this year there's just loads of Hype Week servers. So if one doesn't work, it doesn't really matter because there's, okay,
There's
at
another.
this exact moment, there are 11. But I haven't done the Hype Week announcement live stream, which is going to basically find more of them. Make sense? Because then people will see that and they'll want to participate. So that's
Yeah,
the plan.
yeah. So signing up, just keep an eye on anything Falcon, anything I say about it, anything other people say about it, maybe on channels where you are, like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even
Yeah, yeah.
on YouTube.
And
Just
so
anything with that logo that has your name
Captain
on it.
Crumbs said, nice initiative. Cool to hang out in a setting like this. Would like to see more streamed chats like this. And just so you know,
Oh,
yeah, anyone can do those. If you want to set one up with me, you can just reach out to me. I don't
mhm.
have any requirement. Well, okay, I do have a requirement. You have to express interest in Valheim, but by reaching out to me, you satisfy the requirement. So yeah, sometimes I reach
Yeah.
out to people, but in general, I found
All
like
right.
the best people to talk to are the people who want to share something
Yeah.
and they already feel interested because then they're more animated. It makes for better content instead of me trying to bother somebody. Like I already bothered Snazzy
Yeah.
enough and he just doesn't want to do it and he's busy. So,
Well,
it
he
is
also
what it
asked
is.
me, so yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bother. It's
Yeah.
just cool to do.
No, I asked you because you have a vibe. You have a strong charisma.
Thank you,
So
man.
I noticed that in last year's Valcon. And so it took me forever to actually ask you to do one of these chats, but I've been meaning to for a while, actually. So
I'm glad to hear it. Thank you.
yeah, you do good
Appreciate that.
work. I can see why people are happy with your community. All right,
You too.
everybody.
Organizing all these things here, all these chats. This
Yeah,
is,
it's
this is
been
gonna be
fun.
great.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely think that the hype week itself, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to diss on the actual live stream. It's just I understand now that like last year I thought that if a bunch of Valheim content creators all worked together on something,
Mhm.
that it would be some of the most watched Valheim content on YouTube. I truly thought that. That didn't happen at all. Like the Valcon live stream ended and it ended. Like the VOD has barely gotten watched. I've made like things that have gotten more views than the VOD for that live stream, so it didn't happen. And so like meanwhile, there's people like Snazzy Games who streams just playing Valheim and has as many people as were watching certain parts of the stream. So like I understand now I'm being more realistic this year and I see that like we can't just get a bunch of people together who are content creators and expect it to just like be fun for everybody. We have to make an actual series of experiences that are genuinely fun and long lasting for the players. And if we
Yeah.
do this, the Valcon event itself will thrive. Does that make sense? It's like it's almost like if we focus on the
Yeah.
live stream, it'll never stop being a content creators club. But if we focus on Hype Week, it creates the live stream into something additive to the player's experience. So it's no longer like a content creators club. Make sense?
Needs to be a player run thing, basically.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
stream itself will never be, right? Because it has to
Oh
be
no, no, no,
content
no.
creators. But
Everything's
the hype
shown.
week itself,
Get involvement.
obviously, like the whole
Yeah.
package, it needs to work for not just content creators. It also needs to be really enjoyable for players. You know what I mean? That
Yeah. No,
definitely
exactly.
definitely helps.
Gives them some tools, not rules.
Yeah, tools not rules. I learned a lot from this. I'm gonna remember that. Tools not rules. All
And you
right
need to
then.
start playing Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. I'll
Keep
end the
roping
live
people into
stream
that
now.
game.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Cool.
Stay tuned. Check out Easy's channel. You can look in the description for links to it. And stay tuned to my channel for more information about ValCon and Hype Week. The next week's actually pretty loaded. I got another one of these kind of conversations with Atlas, if you know of him. He's one of the people who worked with Dakar and 9byte on the adventure map. Well, another version of it. It's kind of complicated, but he's from that era. And then also, I'm playtesting Heimdivers, Dakar's project, publicly on a live stream. That's coming up. And then also there's the ValCon Hype Week announcement live stream, where all of the other people who are participating, most of them are going to be in a live stream all together, and I'll ask them all questions about like their project and what's going on. You know what I mean? So that'll be fun. Check those out. With that, I wish you all a good day, and I hope you have a good weekend or end of your weekend. Yes, a good week ahead of
Have
you.
a
There we
good
go.
one.
Yes.